Hey friends, it's Jake Brown, aka Uncle Cardboard, and we're back with our second edition of the Innistrad Midnight Hunt Open Draft Project. And this one rips. I am so excited. We've never had decks that are this close and similar to each other before, but I guess it's the end of the format, so that's kind of what you should expect. There are all these critical little pieces of information that are really going to help you finish out your last draft strong. These like little juicy nuggets, like they're chicken gushers. Oh, just thinking about that kind of made me sick. As always, if you want to try the draft first, you can go down to the description, and I've got links down there so that you can play along at home before you see what everybody selects. And if you want to just jump over to your favorite drafter, I also got timestamps down there as well. Speaking of your favorite drafters, I have absolute crushers from top to bottom. Alex Nikolic, AliasV, Arya Karamchandani, Cedric Phillips, Deathsie, Michael Sigrist, Paulo, Vitor, Damo, Rosa, and Ryan Saxe returning. And we're going to kick things off with Alex right here.
All right, so we opened a pretty unexciting pack. The cards that stick out to me are Root Coil Creeper, Early Breaker, and Shipwreck Sifters to kind of a lesser extent. I think I would just take the Root Coil Creeper here. I've been a big fan of blue-green lately. I think it is one of the most underdrafted archetypes at this point in the format relative to how good it is. And you could take the Burly Breaker as well. I think that card is fine. But, you know, I'm not that happy with most of the green archetypes. Green, blue, and green, white are really the only ones I love. And so I'm just going to take the better card. I think Root Coil Creeper is enough better than Breaker that I would just take it here. All right, well, our second pack is much easier. We just take an Organ Hoarder, which is awesome. Even if my first pick was not Creeper, it would definitely just be Organ Hoarder here. So that's a great one. All right, moving on to this pack now. So, few cards stick out to me. We've got Startle, we've got Baithook Angler, Olivia's Midnight Ambush. Those are really the ones that are on my radar here. I would just take Baithook Angler. I think I really love Baithook Angler. I think it's still a little bit underrated at this point in the format, honestly. Like, it's a premium 2-drop and works really well with both our Creeper and our Organ Hoarder. So I'm thrilled to pick that up here. I think this is a pick where some people might be like, ooh, removal spell with the ambush, but I just don't value removal spells all that highly in this format. The premium creatures are a bit better, I think, especially because, you know, you can pick up a few removal spells. It's pretty prevalent. All right, very sad. There are no blue cards in this pack, which is of note because there is a common of every color in every pack in this set, meaning somebody took a blue common out of this pack, which, you know, is not that big of a deal if we are hoping to get into blue-green still, because, you know, blue's deep enough that you can kind of bully your way into it a lot of the time. That being said, what's the best card in this pack? Hungry for More is good. I actually like that card quite a bit. I'm kind of into the Updog, honestly, the Bounding Wolf here. Like, this guy's kind of a little bit of I don't even want to call it a sleeper, but a card that, like, I'm not that sad to play, especially in blue-green. You often end up with a lot of instants in blue-green, so you can, like, you know, turn 3, hold up this, and flip the switch, and cast whichever one you want. Bounding Wolf's actually be pretty serviceable, and I'm going to take it out of this really weak pack. Alright, more exciting stuff. This is good news for us. So, we've got Deathbonded Sprout, we've got Chatterbee Sighting, we've got Startle. Those are the cards I'm looking at here. I'm just going to take It's close between Deathbonded Sprout and Startle, I think, because if we take Startle, we get deep into the best color, and then we can, like, easily pivot to something that is not blue-green, but I would just take the Sprout here. I think it's enough better. And it's just, like, premium and blue-green. Oh, speaking of premium blue-green, we just get hooked up with a Winterthorn Blessing here, which is, you know, fantastic. I think that is even better than Root Coil Creeper a lot of the time in blue-green decks. Kind of funny. This is like almost like my last draft where we're like drafting this blue-green Tempo with like a little bit of graveyard value deck. But yeah, I'm thrilled to pick this up here. Like, there's some thought to being like, well, I'm kind of locking in at this point because I've taken like half blue cards, half green cards, and like 2 gold blue-green cards. And I would like to be more on the side of get deep into a color so I can pivot into, you know, any of the other colors. But I think we've got enough power going on, and this is like, you know, we've got enough incentive to just kind of, you know, not lock in, but bias towards blue-green that I'm happy to just take the blessing here. I think taking Duel for Dominance would be too big of a power step down. All right. Pretty meh pack. There's Gale Drifter, which I'll play sometimes in blue-green. It's okay. There's Turn the Earth, which is a card I think makes its way into more decks than it should. There's a very small number of decks that actually want the card. You might think blue-green self-milling might kind of want the card. It kind of like shuffles back your good cards, but I think that the times you actually have to draw this card, it's pretty important. So I'm just gonna take the Geldrifter as like a fine playable. Oh, okay. Options. So we can get either a Larder Zombie, a Shipwreck Sifters, or a Secret to the Key. Timberland Guide's also a card I don't hate in blue-green. It's just like a fine 2-drop, but I don't think we have to take it here. It's more of my like emergency mode 2-drop. I'm just gonna take the Larder Zombie. Larder Zombie's awesome. Even in these decks that are like a little more beatdown heavy, like just having a turn 1 play is pretty important in this format. You just get, get at the gates, stop those, or Ecstatic Awakener and Veteran starts where your opponent, you just feel like you're under so much pressure. And Larder Zombie does a good job of defending early and making sure you don't flood in the mid-game. And especially in blue-green, you really start to draw cards off this thing in the mid-game where you're like, yeah, bin the Blessing, bin the Geldrifter, and it just turns into an engine. So I'm pretty happy to pick this up here. Shipwreck Sifters is fine in blue-green, but a lot worse than it is in blue-white because you just have a lesser density of disturb cards. All right, this is our wheel pack. Nothing too notable, I would say. I'll take Snarling Wolf here. I think that I'm pretty much never playing a Path to the Festival. There's actually a small chance that I take Faithful Mending here because there's like this weird subset of blue-green decks where you're like Bant Graveyard stuff with like Faithful Mendings and all the like disturb cards, / the blue-green flashback stuff and the white-green flashback card where you have like jack-o'-lanterns and it's kind of the perfect storm you have to get to actually make that a thing. I think I might just take it here actually over the Snarling Wolf because I think it's very unlikely I get this want to play the Snarling Wolf and maybe that perfect storm happens. Okay, this pick doesn't matter too much. Is there anything I want to not play against? Let's see. I think I just take Path, just cut off a green card, give the subconscious signal to the people that there are no green cards in this pack. Not that it actually is a telling signal or anything. Tapping at the window is actually fine. Sometimes I play that in my blue-green decks. Take Hungry for More. That's a powerful card that I don't want, somebody to get really, really late. Take another tapping. Probably won't play 2, but definitely not playing Duress. And we get an Abandon. Okay, so we're pretty set in blue-green at this point. Like I said, there's spots where you could trail off into some 3-color deck, but our card quality is pretty high. I don't see too much reason to go out of color here. So, it is a powerful pack. We've got Triskaidekaphile, Castaway, Dawnheart Mentor, Eccentric Farmer, and Falcon Abomination. These are all fantastic cards in blue-green. So I'm going to wheel something, I hope. That's really bad news if I don't. Even Candlelit Cavalry, I don't hate in blue-green. It's just this big thing that pressures really hard. So I think, given the fact that, this is a tough pick. I think my guts is the best card in a vacuum is Dawnheart Mentor. I think this card is just fantastic. Sometimes you end up with random green Coven cards, like the Sentry. This card, it stabilizes you early, it pressures late. I like Farmer as well, don't get me wrong, love me a Farmer, but I think I would just take the Dawnheart Mentor here. It's pretty close, though. And now we get a Contortionist Troop. I love Croaking Counterpart. I think that card is underrated as a card that doesn't make it into people's decks often enough, or people don't pick it even when they could cast it. But I think the card is pretty reasonable, especially if you have some self-mill. There's a lot of good abilities in the format. Copying a Morbid Opportunist. I love my last draft I copied a Lisa and a Dawnheart Mentor of my opponents, and then I copied a Tapper, and it was really good. We had a Frog Lisa, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah. But I would just take Contortionist Troop, especially because Croaking Counterpart tends to wheel, and Troop is just a generically powerful card. Okay, here's a pretty interesting pick. So we've got Ominous Roost, which I do like in some blue-green decks. If you have, somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 cards to cast from the graveyard. Flip the Switch can be good, but I've actually moved a little bit away from liking Flip the Switch generically in all my blue decks. I think that the card is good, but people play around it more these days. And I just think that you kind of have to have the deck for it where you actively want to hold up mana, or else it is a little bit awkward. Yeah, not to say we can't be that, but I'm going to bias away from that one a little bit. Silverbolt's interesting too. I don't tend to prioritize the card just because, like, you tend to pick up enough good interaction spells in the set. Like I said, there's a bunch of them in all colors pretty much. So I would just take the Ominous Roost speculatively. Okay, we have the choice between Startle and Duel for Dominance. There's a Join the Dance, which I'm keeping in the back of my mind here for that, like, Bant all graveyard deck thing. But I would just take Startle here. Startle's just really, really good in basically any blue deck. I don't mind Duel either in blue-green because you often, it's an instant, plays well with your instance, and you often prioritize Shadow Beast sighting, and Shadow Beast sighting fights really well, but I would just take Startle. Pretty unexciting pack. Sometimes I play DB's Cover Up in my deck. So you could take a medium 2-drop and Pestilent Wolf, but I think our curve is low enough where I'm not like hurting for 2-drops just yet. Yeah, sorry, DB's Cover Up, yeah. Alright, I don't mind Geist Wave in some of these blue-green decks too. There's good things to bounce. Sometimes you just have the tempo curve out draws where you go like 2, 3, 4, Geist Wave your thing, attack you. Just like, good there, and then in the late game it's good because you can bounce your your troop to reset it, make it bigger, or you bounce your mentor, your Dawnhauer mentor to maybe even just save a good creature that just kind of sits around like mentor. So yeah, I would just pick up my first copy of Ice Wave here. Okay, medium pack. I would just take the Dawnhauer mentors here. I don't care about Burgermeyer or Mysterious Tome or Snarling Wolf. And yeah, just hedging for that time, we end up in that Bant deck. Ooh, Windstorm Blessing. Snap that up. That's awesome. Very happy to see that. All right, I'll take a Candlelit Cavalry here. Like I was saying before, I think this is a fine 5-drop. I've actually found it it is kind of like Bounding Wolf to me, where it's like at the beginning of the format I was like, I don't really want to put this in my deck, but then I started playing it more just kind of out of necessity sometimes, and I was like, actually, this thing just kills them pretty quickly. Like, yeah, it dies to Defenestrate and all those kind of removal spells, but it's got the quality of being a big creature that doesn't die to Silverbolt, which is, kind of rare in this format. So yeah, I'll take the Cavalry here. I'll take the Dissipate as the only card we can cast. Let's see. So this is going to be a hate draft to some degree. I guess Homestead Courage plays in the, for all graveyard, plays with the Roost and stuff. But I think we just take the Candle Trap. That's the card that, is most likely to, make me upset if I want to cast on, an important creature. Okay, take the Join the Dance. Yeah, let's put that in our maybe pile. Take a Ritual Guardian. I hope somebody puts Cathar's Call in their deck. Yeah, sure, Vivid's actual last pick. Alright, pack 3 here. We've already got a really nice deck brewing here, and we are lucky enough to open an Organ Hoarder, so we're just going to slam that one. I would love to pick up a Shadow Beast sighting or an Angler on the wheel, but we'll just slam the Hoarder. Okay, much more medium pack. So there's I'm probably just going to take Startle here. I'll play basically any number of Startles. They all, Startle especially plays well with green large creatures. Just they often have to double block your Shadow Beast or your Cavalry, and you kind of get a blowout. There's also the Seize the Storm, which is kind of stakes out to me as a card we could play. I think we're probably not going to be there because our card quality is just good enough in blue-green. I was talking about a Bant deck. There's also variants of this deck where you're Teamer, which Seize the Storm. So I'm just going to take Startle. Ooh, okay, this is interesting. I'm just going to take the Brutal Cathar here. There's definitely a chance we play this card. This is a good splash card. And yeah, I'm not missing anything from this pack, like a Duel for Dominance. I don't really care that much about that. And this is a fantastic card. And plus, it's plus EV to not let somebody else have it and us potentially play it. So yeah, take the Cathar there. Ooh, man. Okay, so this is really interesting. So now we're getting to true how much do you want to hate draft territory, right? Because there's an actual... Yeah, this is tricky. There's an actual good card in this pack for us that we would love, Baithook Angler, right? And there's an Adeline, which is just a fantastic card that we don't ever want to face. I don't think there's a chance we play Adeline. And some of these, decks, when you pick up 4 Jack-o'-lanterns, you can double splash, but Adeline's not even the best splash, double splash, because she doesn't do much she doesn't do as much when she comes down on turn 7 or whatever, right? Really want that to come down on turn 3, but yeah, this is putting me to the test. I think my gut just says take the Angler here. I'm just gonna take the Angler. We are a little bit lacking on good 2-drops, and we've got good self-mill, so I don't think I can pass up on the Angler here. Oh, ants. Love me some ants. Yeah, that's just perfect for this deck. There is a world where we play Otherworldly Gaze. You know, I don't have a count just yet, but you know, if we end up in a spot where we're playing the Roost, we'll play the Gaze. So I'd grab that. Yeah, pretty unexciting pack. I think I'm just gonna take the Gavany Trapper here. Is, you know, take something from the White Drafter. Yeah, another kind of an exciting pack. I think, yeah, again, I'm not going to play a third trapping. I'll just take the Flesh Taker as the best card in the pack. Yeah, similar. We're just running out. Like, I'm pretty happy. I'm glad that we have we essentially have a good 2-pack deck, because then we, you know, like this the last pack hasn't given much stress, so I'll just take the Lunar Frenzy. Oh, yeah, and then, yeah, this pack also doesn't have much for us. Just take a Candlegrove Witch, I suppose. Okay, take a cover up. There's a world where I side that in, the second copy. And yeah, take another Gavany Trapper. Yep, and Candle Trap. So it's interesting. This is a draft where, you know, I was talking earlier about how it's like, okay, well, if we're just like base one color, we can pivot. This is a draft where it's tough because we have 3 gold cards that we really want to play, but there's a world where we don't pick up those gold cards, got deep into green, and just ended up green-white, right? That's just how the draft went, and it's hard to predict that. Right, it looked like green blue was really open pack 1, pack 2, and then like, you know, pack 3 just kind of dried up for us. Mind you, I'm happy with our deck still, but okay. So yeah, we ended up in a spot where I don't think we're gonna be playing the gold cards, the green white gold cards. We just like didn't end up with, you know, any jack-o'-lanterns. We have 1 piece of fixing, 2 if you count Path, but I think that card's pretty terrible, and I would be very upset to have to play it. So my biggest question here is, after trimming some of the fat, is how much of a Roost deck are we? So let's take out the Vivisection, the Path. Yeah, let's take a thought. Let's weigh that one. I think, yeah, let's. That's a good one to think about. So let's take out the Path, take out the Vivisection, take out the Dissipate, and the one of the cover-ups. So that leaves us with, you know, 20 playables here. It's a bit. It did end up a little bit. You know, we're a little bit late on great stuff. So are we playing this Roost? How many graveyard things do we have? We have got 2 Anglers, a Gaze. We've got 2 Blessings, potentially multiple tappings, and we've got Gale Drifter and Ants. That's like just on the border for me. I think we're probably gonna play it just out of necessity, because like I don't think we have that much other great stuff to play. So I would cut. Let's see. I'd cut a trapping for sure, or a tapping. Sorry, tapping the window. I think we're probably gonna end up in a spot where we just can't afford to play Brutal Cathar. So we have like, maybe it's close. We've got Recoil Creeper, and we've got Otherworldly Gaze, and like Gaze helps you find the lands to cast it. And we've got Organ Hoarder. Yeah, you know what? This is just on the border for me of like wanting to play it. It's a good enough card that I think I'm gonna want to play it. So I probably just cut the other tapping at the window. And then potentially play an 18th land. No, I don't think we really can. Yeah, I think it's fine to play the Brutal Cathar because it's good enough, and we have a lot of ways to see a lot of cards. So yeah, I would just run it like this, playing like, I guess we go, let's see, mostly blue. So we go like 8-7-2 for the Cathar. Actually, let's go 8-8-1, because we have a lot of ways to find that source, and Creeper is a source. So we can just play 2 sources. We'll be able to find one of the 2 sources because we have a lot of card selection. Final thoughts are that I went into pack 1 being a little bit, or left pack 1 being a little bit, happy, but also a little bit wary of the fact that, like, all right, we are locked in here. I don't love locking in pack 1. I usually like to lock in pack 2, but that's just the way the draft went. We couldn't, like, I didn't think it was reasonable to bias towards one color when we got all those good gold cards, and we got a little bit punished at the end of the pack 3 there. Like, I think our deck ended up, pretty good overall. And, like I said, the draft goes in weird ways sometimes. And I'm happy with my deck. I just wish we were in a position to snipe all the great white cards that were coming our way in pack 3.
Okay. Well, this rare is kind of doo-doo butts. Can you bleep me if I get a little too honest? Sweet. Okay, this pack is I don't like it very much. The things that I'm leaning to most, probably the Breaker, even though green is terrible in this format, or the Gale Drifter. Root Coil Creeper is cool, but I'm not a fan of blue-green in the format. There's also Shipwreck Sifters. I'm going to take a Gale Drifter. Oh, Organ Hoarder. Easy. So I've seen 2 Olivia's Midnight Ambushes, and yes, they're quite good, but people fight over blue, so I'm stamping my authority and taking all the good blue cards while I can. And then blue dries up. Haha! Fun. There's a lot of red, also not a super great color. I will take the Deserted Beach here. Ooh, okay. That's not too bad. I like the Trapper. He's a good little tappy boy. Another Gale Drifter is also enticing. Yeah, let's take another Gale Drifter here. Another flyer. Extra value. Well, as much as I don't like green-blue, the game might be going, hey, you should pick this Winterhorn Blessing, but what else do I like here, if anything? I think here I would take Duel for Dominance. It's removal. No one seems to be picking green stuff, so... yeah, let's take some removal. Oh, look, it's Teferi at home. Hey, Vadric. What's up, buddy? I'm just going to win with birds. That's my plan currently, so another Gale Drifter here. Oh, now this is quite nice. Home can be good, but I see a Shipwreck Sifters, and I would like that. That's great for all of my my returnee friends. My disturbed guys. So I haven't picked up any white cards yet. Faithful Mending. It's okay, but I think I want to take Path to the Festival here. Let's see, just in case we want to splash something. I mean, sure, let's take another Path. What could go wrong? Celestial Sanctifier's not the worst. I don't know if I'd play any of these. Tapping at the window is... I mean, it's okay. I can put stuff in my bin too. It's like a bad Shipwreck Sifters. So, sure, I'll take tapping at the window. Oh, Updog, Bounding Wolf. He's a good boy. And I'll take another tapping. I guess this is mine now. Okay. This is quite an interesting pack, because there's three cards I'm interested in initially. Covetous Castaway is super good. Triskid Decaphile. Yeah, fine. If you like alternate win conditions, I couldn't really be bothered though, so meh. Dawnhot Mentor is really good. Especially late game, just being able to dump a bunch of mana in is nice. Eccentric Farm is also nice. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think I want the Covetous Castaway here. As nice as Dawnhot Mentor is, I like things that come back and give me flyers, so it's gonna be that one. Ooh, okay. Aw. Now, Contortionist Troop. Kind of like Luminarch Aspirant, but worse. But still kind of cool. I don't like counter spells, even though Dissipate is probably okay here. There's another Olivia's Midnight Ambush, but who needs removal anyways? I'm going to take Contortionist Troop. Okay. A lot of people have been playing Flip the Switch lately, but I think the pick here is Revenge of the Drowned. Just get something off the board. Ominous Roost could be fun. Let's see if it comes back. Okay, well, whoever's in black will be happy with that. I'm going to take another Duel for Dominance here. Loyal Griff, you are a good hippo thing. I do have the beach. I do have ways to splash stuff. Is that worth a splash? Maybe. I'm gonna take it and we'll find out. Loyal Griff. Curse of Leeches. What? Nah, I think I'll stay off black. I'm checking out that Unblinking Observer. That'll be nice. For instance, in sorceries and our disturbed friends, so let's grab that. Oh, Tome came back. Alright. Is there anything else I want here, though? No. Yeah, Mysterious Tome. Could probably be a cool sideboard card. In the grindier matchups. Another one? Ah, okay, Winterhorn Blessing came back. That does tap things for us. Yeah, I'm in Simic. May as well. I'll grab the Winterhorn Blessing. Well, there's nothing really more annoying than having your stuff bounced, so I'll take Geistwave. Can protect my creatures too if I need to. Oh, fine, Dissipate. Get in there. A couple white cards coming around. I've never played Vadric. I've never heard anyone say he's any good, so I'll take Candle Trap as a... Whoops, I need some more removal spells. Let's grab Join the Dance. Makes creatures, has flashback. Graveyard Nonsense, go. Cathar's Call could be fun. Just poop out a bunch of dudes. Yeah, why not? Let's grab that. And that's mine. We'll take that. Oh, come on. On color rares one time? No. Unacceptable. But there is an Organ Hoarder, so I can't be too sad about that. Firmament Sage I would like to see come back, but yeah, let's grab a Hoarder. Wow, where are my colors? Excuse me, Judge, I think this pack is rigged. That is a lot of stuff. I want to take Dreadhound, but that's probably a bad idea. Let's take Might of the Old Ways. Combat tricks are fun. Ooh, hello. Okay, we're splashing wide. Brutal Cathar, get in there, bud. Oh, hello. Well now. Can I do double white? Probably such a bad idea. How many Shipwreck Scepters do I have? Just the one? Okay. And there's another bait hook angler. Okay, I think we leave Adeline. Let's go for another bait hook angler. Scepters is cute and all, but I don't want him to mill too much stuff. Ooh, Rise of the Ants. That's quite nice. I will take that. I say to this pack, Bereaved Savior? I mean, maybe? Yeah, sure, let's take Bereaved Savior. I probably won't play it, but everything else in here sucks. Okay, tapper time. Let's grab an itty-bitty little tapper. We're just gonna go 3 colors and be happy. This pack sucks, so we'll take Homestead Courage, even though we probably won't play it. Search Party Captain. Okay, yeah. Why not? Let's see. Maybe we're more one color than another. Morning Patrol is quite nice with what we are doing. So let's grab one of them. I don't really want anything in this pack. I'll take a Devious Cover Up. Maybe sideboard. Another tapper? Sure, get in there, bud. Welcome to the party. Another Candle Trap. Seems good. Okay, we got a bunch of white stuff here, so let's see which way we go. Yeah, bring that beach in here. I'm probably gonna need it. Okay. Is there a way to see the color? Yeah, what we have the most of. Okay, we ended up more Azorius than green. Interesting. You know what? That's okay, because the green stuff was actually quite poop. So let's start by taking all the green stuff out. Get out of here. Yeah. Okay, would you mind just shoving 17 lands in, Cook? Even if it's not right, you can tweak afterwards. All right. I do quite like the trappers. They're very annoying. So we'll keep both of those. Bait hook angler is really good. Covetous castaway is also neat. Puts things back in if we're worried about milling out. Shipwreck sifters is cool. Observer's cool. Bereaved survivor. That actually works well here because we have a bunch of little idiots that we might be able to get back out. Brutal Cathar, very nice. Loyal Griff, very nice. Able to bounce something for us. We like the morning patrol guy. I mean, that's a lot on 4. That's quite a bit. How many creatures we got? 17. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh, it is. Okay, let's take out one Gale Drifter. Got one of those fellas. Let's take out one Candle Trap. I do need some removals, so let's take one of those out. Let's take Tome out for sideboard. Let's take out a section. I don't typically like that. Okay. Cool. So it doesn't look great. We didn't get any Graph Keepers, but these were the colors that came to us, so we're just going to rely on regurgitating creatures from the graveyard and go. Well, I was a little bit all over the place, and I think I picked up too many crappy green cards, but I didn't. At least I can't remember if I saw all that much white in the first pack. So we switched into it. I don't know if I missed anything that I should have grabbed. We'll see, but I think once I grabbed the Loyal Griff, all the white cards came around. So we picked up some good ones. The Brutal Cathar is nice. Bereaved Survivor actually works pretty well with what we're doing. I think it's kind of tempo-ish. If I can win quickly, it'll be fine. But if the game goes long, I think I'm in a pretty bad spot. I do have some sideboard options to bring in to help me out a little bit more. Mysterious Tome to tap some things down along with the trappers. So, yeah, if we can control the opponent's boards, we should be able to fly in for the win, hopefully, with our disturbed creatures. I don't think it's super powerful. It's certainly not the best I've drafted. But it should get some wins. I got 2 Organ Hoarders, so I'm already a winner.
To start off, I'm not very happy with this as my first pack. There's not any premium level cards. Maybe Galvanic Iteration's a lot better than I'm giving credit for. I haven't played it in Limited, but based on my understanding, it's not a very good card. And the 2 best cards, I'd say, or 2 of the stronger cards in this pack are both green with Rootgall Creeper and Burly Breaker. I think if I'm green, I'm incentivized to be green-blue, and I do think Creeper is a stronger card than Breaker. So that's probably what I'm leaning towards for my first pick. There's a bunch of medium cards, but I just don't think there's much of this pack, so I'm probably just taking the Creeper and hoping the next few packs have better cards in other colors. But if not, Creeper is at least a good start to a green-blue deck. It's very much what the deck wants to be doing. So this pack is a lot simpler. There's an Organ Hoarder, and there's not many other great cards. All the other commons are worse, and we're already in blue. So even the next best commons with Awakener and Ambush, even if we hadn't been in blue, I'd have probably not picked them over Organ Hoarder this early. And Organ Hoarder is just significantly better than any of the uncommons. I don't think Skrillex is particularly good even in the blue-red deck. I think 5-drops are not really what the spells deck wants to be doing. So yeah, just taking Organ Hoarder, it's not particularly close. This pack, I think there's a few strong cards. I don't think I'm ever taking any of the uncommons in this pack. Silversmith is fine. Startle is quite good. I think I'm taking Olivia's Midnight Ambush, particularly early in the pack. What I like to do in draft is just take the best card every pack and like remain open until I start being able to read signals proper. And so I like to waffle a lot early, and I think Olivia's Midnight Ambush is probably the best card in this pack ahead of Startle. So I think I'd pick that here. This pack's not great. Yeah, most of these cards are like not really making my deck. After this start, I think I'm pretty unlikely to be in red, so that pretty much rules out all of the red cards. Not that most of them are all that strong anyway. I'm not a huge fan of like the green X decks that like splash a bunch of stuff like Rejuvenate. I feel like it's just not a great card, and you get much better rate in things like blue and black, so I don't really want to go into one of those decks. In general, in this format, I'm leaning towards Esper colors. In those colors, I don't think Revelry or Outlaw are particularly good cards. Flare of Fate is fine in some decks, but really has like zero synergy with anything we're doing so far. This is a hard pick, and also one that I don't think is like whatever I take this pack is pretty unlikely to make my deck. I think I'd end up taking the Deserted Beach here, just because I do think Esper colors are pretty strong, and there's a non-zero chance we want to splash. Splashing in this format is like very hard and very costly, so picking up a fixing land in this pick where it's like close to free, because everything else is so bad, is pretty valuable, and might let us splash where I normally would be comfortable doing that. Yeah, this pack is much better than the last one. Shadow-based Sighting is like the only card that's like making me think a little here in terms of just being a good green card and make me maybe want to veer towards green a little. The other two good cards in this pack are Trapper and Startle. I think. Yeah, I think those are the three cards I'm considering in some order. I'm more comfortable with blue X decks than I am with green decks. But I do think Shadow Beast Sighting is a stronger card than Startle is. So I think I'm probably taking Sighting here, though I may end up regretting that. Okay, we're seeing a bunch of green cards, so I think we're getting rewarded for the direction in which we're going. I haven't gotten a chance to play a lot with Winterthorn Blessing, but I'd imagine... But from the little I've seen other people play it, the card has looked quite good. Deal for Dominance is a card I'm like not a huge fan of in this format, just because, well, green is not the strongest color, and then even within that, there's a lot of removal, so fight spells are like less reliable as removal than they might normally be. I think I'm taking the Blessing here, but one way or another, it's definitely it would have been a green card regardless. There's nothing much that's good otherwise in this pack. Okay, I mean the two strongest cards in this pack are like Gale Rifter and No Way Out. Well, I guess Painblade's Scoundrel is also quite good, but I think I'm just taking Gale Drifter here. We only have the one black card. And like, I wouldn't consider these black cards quite strong enough to be signals, just because there's a bunch of good black commons, so it's possible there's still strong black cards left this late in the pack, even if black isn't particularly open. So yeah, I think I'm taking Gale Drifter. I think this pack, it's either going to be Sifters or Lada Zombie. A lot of Zombie is, I think, a card I'm higher on in general. Maybe Sifters is specifically good in like blue-white and blue-black, where you have a bunch of, well, more so blue-white even than blue-black, whereas a lot of Zombie is probably better in blue-black, just because you have a bunch of cards to discard to it. I think this pick, I'm going to go with the Sifters, where like not, I don't know though if we were blue-green, would be a deck in which Lada Zombie, in which we'd have room for Lada Zombie, whereas with the Gale Drifter, with all the flashback cards, there's not a trivial chance we end up in a Shipwreck Sifters deck. Okay, I don't like any of these cards. I'm probably taking the Neonate Thrush just because I'm never playing anything else. Yeah, there's a possibility I'm like not sufficiently high on Path to the Festival, but I don't know. In my experience, this is not a format where you have the ability to just like take a turn off in the mid game to fix your mana and develop your mana. It's a format where being low to the ground, having things to do impacting the board every turn is pretty important. And so I don't know if Path to the Festival is something a lot of you are actually going to get to do. I'll probably take it here because I don't think I'm playing anything else in this pack. But generally speaking, I'm not very high on the card. Okay, I'll probably take the Sanctify here. It's the only thing I'd consider remotely playable. I'm not a fan of tapping at the window. Similarly for, I think, Flare of Fate this pack, I'm not thrilled about Bounding Wolf. We're seeing a bunch of at least playable white cards late in the pack, so there's a decent chance we end up in a good blue-white deck. I mentioned that like Shipwreck Sifter is particularly good in blue-white, like sufficiently so to be almost a hybrid card. So we've seen like some decent cards for blue-white late, so I'd be interested in picking up this Flare of Fate. I don't think Bounding Wolf or Vitality is making my deck at this point. I guess we take the tapping at the window here. I'm not playing either of these cards. For a second I forgot it was best of 3. Maybe Duress would have been a better pick, but I think it's pretty irrelevant either way. And yeah. Could you get rid of Abandon the Post, Neonate Rush, and like the land? Oh, and tapping at the window, I missed that one. Yeah, so we have like a couple cards in white. Couple cards in green. I do still want to be green-blue just because that's where our most powerful cards are. Yeah, with that knowledge, Risk a Decaphile is like fine. It's not fantastic. Format has a lot of mana to draw a card in this format when people are barely ever running out of cards thanks to flashback stuff and Disturb. I think I want to take the Castaway this pack, regardless of what color we're going in, whether we're going to blue-green or blue-white. It looks like we're going to have a lot of ability to put things into our graveyard, at which point Castaway is pretty excellent. So I think that's the card I'm picking here. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm just taking the blue-green rare here. I mean, it's a strong card. There's, like... Troop is also certainly very good. I think at this point I'm like quite solidly in blue-green after these first 2 picks. This pack, Troop is like I think the only other card in contention. I believe Counterpart is better, particularly in a deck like ours where we have utility creatures like Rootcalc Reaper. But it's entirely possible I'm wrong. It's a rare. I've only played with it so many times. But I think I'm taking Counterpart here. I think I'm just taking the Silver Bolt here. Actually, sorry, I missed the Flip the Switch at first glance. I think I'm taking the Flip the Switch here. Yeah, it's just a solid card. It's that or Silver Bolt this pack. I don't think there's much else. There's a world in which is an Ominous Roost deck, but I'm not quite willing to take that chance. Okay, I think as a blue-green deck, we're probably going to be a little short on removal, and Startle is fine, but we don't really have a great way to use the token, so as a result, I think I'm taking Duel for Dominance here. I think I'm taking the Wolf here. Cover Up is fine in this format. I mean, it's mostly just Dissipate. This is not a deck where we can use the shuffling back into our library all that well, because we're going to have a lot of cards with Flashback and Disturb. So, yeah, slightly overcosted counterspell is not great. Blue-green is like one of the decks more capable of splashing, but I don't think I'm splashing for Curse of Leeches, so I think I'm just taking Dissipate here. This is like a rather unimpressive pack. There's a couple good white cards with Wardens and Search Party Captains, and we do have the one Deserted Beach plus the Rootcalc Reaper, so White Splash might be possible, but I don't think I'm doing it for either of these cards, so I'm probably just taking the Bird Admirer. I've heard good things about that card, though I haven't played it all that much myself. Okay, I think I'm just taking another Dissipate here, mostly because the rest of the pack is really bad. Oh, I missed a Lunark Veteran, actually. I think that's pretty late for that card. I do quite like Veteran. Yeah, I know that's highly debated. I think I'm just taking the Dissipate in this spot. Veteran. I like Veteran. I'm not willing to splash for it. I'm probably happy playing 2 Dissipates. And in a deck like this, I might even play the second Dissipate over the first Flip the Switch. Probably taking Geistwave here. Morning Patrol is another good white card, and I'm slightly regretting not being blue-white, even though blue-green is more open in our seat. I feel white is also just a stronger color than green in this set. But yeah, I think I'm taking the Geistwave here. I think there's like no world in which we're playing the third Dissipate. I guess we probably take it because we're not playing any of these other cards, and there's some world in which we sideboard into it, but I wouldn't put it in the main deck. I'd just like put it directly in the sideboard. I guess we take the Candle Trap in case we end up with a random white splash and we want to play a piece of removal, particularly given we already have a white fixing land. Yep, probably did join the dance for similar reasons, so I doubt we play it. And take the Ritual Guardian here. Okay, this pick's fairly straightforward. Just gonna take another Organ just like quite easily. Well, I don't actually know whether it's better than it's the red adversary might be better, but it's a moot point. It's definitely the best card in our colors. Okay, I'm gonna need a minute to look at our deck and see whether there's any world in which we splash Seize the Storm. I don't think there is. We just don't really have the fixing for it. Yeah, there's a bunch of really strong cards this back in non-luck colors with Seize the Storm and Dreadhound. I think I'm taking the Startle. It's the best card in our colors. It's not a deck in which Startle's at its best though. Okay, I mean we're definitely splashing the Brutal Gather. We have 2 pieces of fixing and that card's a bomb, so pretty happy to pick that up. Pretty happy with my pick of the pick of the Deserted Beach earlier, definitely paying off. It's either the Sifters or the Angler here, and I think we want to take the second Sifters, with us having, specifically, the card I'm looking at is, I don't think it's, I think it got moved to our sideboard, but we have a Castaway, I believe. Okay, yeah, so I think I'm taking the Sifters here. Okay, Rise of the Ants is a fantastic pickup. It's exactly what this sort of deck wants. So that's kind of perfect. Give me a second to look at the curve. Okay, so we have a bunch of 4s. I'd probably take the Tireless Hauler. There's a pretty decent chance it just doesn't make the deck though, because we're not exactly short playables. I suppose we're taking the Cover Up this back. I think there's a very low chance of us playing any of these cards. But there's some world in which both spot that it's a really grindy matchup we want to bring Cover Up in. It doesn't. I don't know whether this is supposed to be like a pod draft or just a general best of 3 where we'll play out of pod. If it's a pod draft, I'm probably taking the Flesh Taker just to deny someone else a good card, I guess. We're not playing any of these cards ever. I think I'm taking the Return to Nature for the sideboard in this pack. I guess we're taking the Morning Patrol. We really haven't seen any blue or green playables but luckily, over the last few picks, but luckily we just kind of have enough, so it should be fine. I suppose we take the Ghoul. It doesn't matter. I don't think there's any world in which we're playing the second Devious Cover Up plus multiple Dissipates, even post-pod. Okay, we'll take the Trapper. I mean, it's a decent card. Same logic for Candle Trap. Looks like we're not going to have much room to cut creatures, which is fine because all our creatures are good. But we're probably going to need to play that Hauler. I'd got the third Dissipate for sure. I'd got both Tapping at the Windows. I guess I'm just going to start by cutting the cards I'm never main decking. So cutting the Tapping at the Windows, cutting the Return to Nature, cutting the Vivisection and the Devious Cover Up. I think we might need to put one card back in at this point, because that's 22, and I don't think this is a deck in which I'm running 18 lands. Yeah, I'm not fully sure on this last pick. There's some world. Yeah. Oh, we are. I was gonna mention that we might play the Path to the Festival. I didn't realize we're already doing that. Yeah, a little short on playables here than I might like, unfortunately. Yeah, I don't think I want to play any of the green or blue cards as my 23rd card. I think I'm almost certainly playing something white, particularly since we have the Root Call Creeper, the Path to the Festival, and a Deserted Beach. So we can just play one plains and pretty freely get away with the white splash for 2 cards. I think I'd probably play a Candle Trap as my last card. Yeah, I think that's how I'd run it. Probably one plains, and I should do the math. Yeah, I think I'm fine with 8 islands and 7 forests, even though that gives us 9 blue sauces and 7 green sauces. I think that's like the mix we want for this deck. I'd say I'm like reasonably confident in this deck. I haven't gotten to play that much blue-green. I would probably like, but I'm pretty happy. We have like some really powerful top end with like Rise of the Ants and like just a bunch of card advantage. We have a pseudo infinite combo, I believe, with Root Call Creeper and Croaking Counterpart. I think I'm like reasonably happy with this deck. I think the seat would have maybe yielded a slightly better deck if I'd just been blue-white. But I don't know that I saw the signals early to. I don't know if there was sufficient signals early for me to realize that. I was contemplating moving into blue-white at the end of pack 1, and I probably would have had a better deck if I'd done that. But I think this deck is like, at the very least, a very serviceable deck. So it's not the end of the world.
All right, I think most people. Wow, I think most people would take Faithful Mending first because a lot of people like Azorius Disturbed. I don't like it as much as other people do, and I actually like Simic decks. I'm not in love with taking a first pick gold card like ever, but single color options don't really impress me very much. So like, taking Burly Breaker first, I'm not going to do. I just don't think it's that good of a card, and all the 5 drops are replaceable. Sifters, I don't like as much as other people, and then Gale Drifter doesn't feel like a first pick quality card. So I'm going to speculate here with Root Coil Creeper as my pick. All right, let's see now. The very powerful Organ Hoarder. Well, as good as Awakener and Olivia's Midnight Ambush are, I don't want to say they're off color because they're not, because I'm not solidified into a color, but I am taking Organ Hoarder because it's, the best common in the set. So it also goes well with blue-green. So let's go there. All right, next up, 6/12. Okay, so there's a Midnight Ambush. I just passed 2 black cards. There's a Startle, there's a Bait Hood Angler, and there's a Storm Rider Spirits. Green card doesn't matter. Red cards up top suck. I'm going to take Ambush. Maybe I splash, maybe I don't. I'm probably not going to, but it's just good to stay open. So yeah, we'll take Ambush. All right. See, there's the blue-white land. That means I was supposed to take the Faithful Mending. I punted. Kind of want to. Like, I can always get a Cross-Sights Candle Guard anytime. Taking a land this early is kind of psycho. But like, this pack is terrible. I hate Sunset Revelry. I don't want to take Crossroads Candle Guard this high. All right, give me a land. Give me Deserted Beach. Maybe I end up splashing something. I don't know. Oh, hell yeah. Shadow Beast Sighting. Let's go. In a Runaway. Best card in the pack by so much. Okay. Here we go. All right. Oh, yes. Yes, we are being rewarded. Winterhorn Blessing into a Simic strategy. All right. It's a really late one of those Baneblade Scoundrels, but let's see. I think I'm just gonna take Gale Drifter, even though I don't love it in Simic, right? Black green's not a thing, and neither is black green splat. Hold on. If I take the Scoundrel, what's it look like? I'm not really black blue. Give me Gale Drifter. That's really close, I think. It's between Gale Drifter and Baneblade Scoundrel. Basically, like, if I take the Scoundrel, I'm kind of looking into, am I green-black? Like, not really. I also don't ever want to be green-black. Am I blue-black? And so I have a Hoarder, a Scoundrel, Olivia's Midnight Ambush. Like, that's really it. And, like, if I'm going down this green-blue splash something pathway, and so Gale Drifter is probably going to make my deck more often, no matter what happens, because I really don't want to be GB. So either I'm Simic or I'm Dimir, and that means Gale Drifter is probably going to make my deck more often than not. And I don't really think that Baneblade Scoundrel is actually even that good of a card. So I'll just take the Drifter because I think it's going to make my deck more often than not. All right. This is not sealed, so I don't want the tome. Sifter's a 2. Sifter's a better 2 than Timbaling Guide because we're not doing Coven stuff. Larder Zombie is interesting. Secrets of the Key is interesting. I'm going to take Secrets of the Key. I think it's better than... I don't like Sifters very much in Simic. I don't really like Timberland Guide in general unless you're Selesnya and doing Coven stuff. And Larder Zombie would probably be the second card I take from this pack. But I'm not going to select it from this pack because I think that Secrets of the Key is just better in this style of strategy. And I actually consider Mysterious Tome to be close to unplayable in Booster Draft, but actually very good in Sealed. Whoa. Well, I'm taking Faithful Mending. I don't know if I'm playing Faithful Mending, but I'm taking Faithful Mending. And now taking that Deserted Beach looks fucking genius. I'm not taking that card. We could be blue-white splashing green, maybe. All right, we'll take Cathar Commando. Unruly Mob's horrible, so we'll take the Commando. They might force my hand here. Okay, Celestis Sanctifier, but no intention of playing it. Flare of Faith might end up in here, depending on how the draft shakes out. Tapping at the window. And abandon the post for last pick. Okay, here we go. All right, this is where things get a little bit interesting. So we haven't really seen any black cards. Covetous Castaway is a pretty good card. Dawnheart Mentor is a really good card. Don't really care for the 2-mana 1/3 rare, whose name I can't pronounce. Kind of into the farmer if I'm going to go this blue-green route. We're not really black, so the Eaten Alive we can mostly ignore. So now it's like a question of like, do you think Mentor is better than Farmer, or vice versa? I think Mentor is better in Coven decks. Farmer is better in like this graveyard-ish deck that we're doing right now, and then I think Castaway is in a solid third place. So give me the Farmer. Okay. Croaking Counterpart is powerful. I do like that card. There's also a Contortionist Troop, which is better in Coven strategies. I'm not sure if we're supposed to do the Counterpart this high. Let's see. So we have 2-drop. Well, actually, Counterpart's pretty good in this deck, though, because I have this other stuff going on. I have Organ Hoarder and I have Farmer, so that's just kind of some card advantage. Okay, I'll take the Croaking Counterpart. A little sad I'm passing the Troop, but that's just how it goes. All right, big pack. Swing and a miss. Mostly. Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so for blue-white, we can't, it's hard to be blue-white splash green. So Lunarch Veteran isn't really a consideration. Don't really like that card either. The Roost is not particularly good in this deck. Kind of painful to take a Silver Bolt this early, but I might be doing that. Bereaved Survivor sucks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So splashing white is on the table here. Yeah. Okay, give me a Silver Bolt. Piece of removal, I guess. Gotta be able to kill stuff. All right. Oh boy, that's a lot of Awakeners. Geez, that's a signal. I presume one of those is foil, I would guess. Okay. Wow, that's really telling. Boy, probably too late to move that way. Pretty solidified right now. Well, yeah, it's pretty solidified. So like we could take Join to the Dance and splash. I think we might be getting a little greedy with that. I also don't like that card very much. It's not worth splashing for. So let's select a Startle. I think that's the best thing going on here. We need some 2s to fill in our curve. Not you, Pestilence Wolf. Well, it might be you, actually. I'm not going to splash for Loyal Griff if I'm splashing at all. Cover Up isn't bad, but I think I want to fill my curve more. So I'm going to reluctantly select Pestilent Wolf. For curve considerations, we need help. Well, Blinky's actually good in this deck. Okay, so Blinky's a good 2. Curse of Leeches, no. Someone's getting late one of those. That must be nice. Yep, Unblinking Observer. Good in this style strategy. Okay. I see you, Tome. I see you. Let's see. I'm going to take Bird Admirer, however you pronounce it. I think that's just the best thing going on here again. Yeah, I just think that's the best thing here. Okay. Another Unblinking Observer. That's nice. Passing a lot of tomes, but don't really care. Okay, so that's good. Okay, there's a big bozo. Or I could have a Geist Wave for interaction. I'm going to take Candlelit Cavalry. I need something big to actually try to win the game with. I'm kind of lacking in that department, so I'll take that. I'll take a Dissipate. Hopefully it doesn't make my deck. I'm going to take, I'm going to take Candle Trap. Probably won't play it, but I'll take it. I don't really like Vadric at all, so yeah, I'll take Candle Trap. I'll take Join the Dance. Might make our deck. I'll take Ritual Guardian, because Cathar's Call is unplayable. And Vivisection, which sucks in draft. All right, last pack. Oof, brutal. Well, it's very clearly Organ Hoarder. I just wish I could take that and the Siding and put a card back from my deck into this pack. But yeah, I'm taking Organ Hoarder. No real conversation necessary there. So here come these red cards. Finally, Moonrager Slash and Seize the Storm. I was kind of hoping this might happen, even though I don't have the strongest capabilities of splashing red. I'm also not really splashing white very much. So if I were to really, really go for it, I would take Moonrager Slash. Startle is like fine here, but not great. My deck isn't very aggressive, so I'm not really making the most out of these startles. I'm going to take Moonrager Slash. This is going to feel weird. I'm taking Moonrager Slash with the hope of wheeling Seize the Storm. Great. Ooh. Well, that card's... Man. Yeah, okay, well, Brutal Cathar is busted, so I'm taking that now. And I'm going to find a way to splash white in this deck now. I'm just going to find a way to splash that and Mending into my deck. And that card's double white. Okay, so am I supposed to be moving? Should I have moved a long time ago? Should I just be splashing green? What would my green splash be? It would be like... Counterpart, kind of? Well, kind of. My mana isn't good enough to do all this nonsense, so I could just take the Angler. Feels like if I was going to get in white, I shouldn't have gotten white earlier, so... what kind of white cards do I have? I have Cathar. I don't really have good white cards, so this isn't... I mean, as good as Adeline is, I'm just going to take Bait Hook Angler, because as good as Adeline is, it's just too late for me to get into that color combination. So, yeah, I'll just take Angler. It's going to make my deck, so... that is a really, really good time to get Rise of the Ants. So I'm going to take Rise of the Ants. My deck really needed the help. Yeah, that's an easy one and a gift. So let's go and get that in there. Okay. I have a Dissipate, which is good. I have a couple 4s, but I have 2 Organ Hoarders and a Shadow Beast Sighting and a Gale Drifter. So 4s I'm actually doing okay on. I have Rise of the Ants. I have a 5 in Cavalry. Got a couple of 2s. I guess I could use probably one more 5, just one more top end card. Okay, I'm going to take Tireless Hauler. I hope to wield this Otherworldly Gaze. All right, that card's not ever going to make my deck. I will select Devious Cover Up, though I doubt I'll play it. It's a really late Flesh Taker. There's nothing in this pack for me, so I'll take tap. I'll actually take Flesh Taker. Just sorry, somebody. Late Lunar Frenzy, but it doesn't really matter. I guess I could take it on the off chance. Well, I actually have one of those yet. I do not, and I guess I might need it. Okay, I'll take Return to Nature. Never know, might come up. Okay, so this is a whiff for me, so I'll take Candle Grove Witch, I guess. Probably the best card in this pack. Doesn't actually really matter, but I'll take Hedge. I have 2 counter spells. Yeah, I'll take Hedge, which is yeah, sure. On the splash, I'll take Hedge, which is Mask. Sure. Games get weird sometimes. I'll take a Trapper. I'll take a Candle Trap, and I'll take a Tapping at the window. All right. So for white, Brutal Cathar. For blue, every single card besides Vivisection. For green, we'll do the wolf. We'll do the bird, admiral, farmer, sighting, and everything below sighting. So Cavalry Hauler and Rise Advance. Put the mending in. Put in the 3 blue-green cards. Put in the Silverbolt. Oh, would you look at that? 23 solid. Can we organize by... Yeah, there we go. I figured you'd get there. Perfect. Okay, so let's see. Creature-wise, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 with siding 15 with the ants. Okay, so we got 15 creatures. Removal, we got a Silverbolt. Startle is not removal, so we have a Silverbolt. We have a Brutal Cathar. We have a Winterhorn's Blessing, which is fine enough. This cover-up is actually going to make it. I have 2 counter spells? That sucks. Kind of brutal there. So yeah, our deck's not the best. It's not the worst deck we ever put together, but it's not the best either. It's bothering me. Okay. So I wish we had an Evolving Wilds, but we don't. We have a Cathar and a Faithless Mending. Good cards. Join the Dance, I don't think is worth splashing. I don't think it's powerful enough. This is how we'd look. I would play let me do the count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 7, 7, 2 planes. Yeah, that's my deck. I'm not thrilled because I really don't have like much removal or interaction. So if I get behind, I'm a little bit worried about it. But because I have to have some unblinking observers, I can actually kind of cast these counter spells like the Cover Up and the Dissipate without having to pass on turn 4 mana up and hope someone casts a spell. So I think this is fine. I don't think it's great. I wish I had 2 flyers, 2 more flyers, excuse me. But yeah, I would lock this in and I wouldn't feel great about it.
Well, I think this pack is, if most people would agree, is a very below average. I like basically the only card I like here is Rootcoil Creeper. And then outside of that, it's like Ritual of Hope, Burly Breaker, fine. The rest of the cards, I don't even want them in my deck. So yeah, I would just pick Rootcoil Creeper. All right, so next pick here, basically between Organ Hoarder and nothing, I think. The next line of cards would be Olivia's Midnight Ambush and Ecstatic Awakener, I think. Probably in the other order. But I would probably just pick an Organ Hoarder. I'm not too scared of fighting for blue, even though people think it's one of the best colors. All right. Another Olivia's Midnight Ambush here. Something to note. Bait Hook Angler, Gavany Silversmith. I mean, I guess it just makes sense to pick a blue card here since nothing is exciting. So I'll just pick up a Bait Hook Angler, which matches my other cards. So for me, blue-green often does become some sort of spells deck. But Dawnheart Rejuvenator is awkward because there just aren't that many big green or blue spells. Actually, just not that many big spells in general. I would probably just pick up this Deserted Beach and just try to go for some pile here. All right, things are looking up a little bit. Shadow Beast Sighting. Sprout is okay. I'm not a big fan of it. I think it's matchup dependent. And then we have some filler blue cards here, but very happy to see a Shadow Beast Sighting. Let's just go ahead and grab that. Ooh, oh man, life is good. All right, well, Windsor Thorn and Blessing versus Bird and Mire, and then Duel for Dominance isn't bad either. But I will pick up a Winter Thorn Blessing. I think that's a very good signal. Very good sign from above. All right, well, Adric is actually kind of cool because the blue-green flashback cards are so expensive that you need to find some way to make them cheaper, whether it's a Unblinking Observer or Rucoil Creeper, but Vadric is kind of interesting. I mean, what's opportunity cost? A Gale Drifter? So yeah, I'm actually down to pick a Vadric. Ooh, Mysterious Tome. Speaking of extremely expensive Magic the Gathering cards. All right, yeah, let's go ahead and pick a Mysterious Tome. One of my favorite things in this format is playing green and just spending like 10 mana to do 4 mana worth of stuff. It's a really great pastime of mine, yeah. Okay, one example of those cards, Path to the Festival. All right, count me in. Yeah, let's pick that up. Okay, another Path to the Festival feels good. All right, so tapping the window could be decent. I think that right now the way I drafted is actually very flexible. Even though pack one, pick one, I picked a Rootcoil Creeper, which didn't seem flexible. It was more that I just didn't care about the other cards. So, yep, tapping on the window sounds good to me. Bounding Wolf, very happy to see the only green card come back in that pack, and it's decent. But they're tapping the window, which seems great. All right, so Triska Decaphile, actually just an overall very solid pack for what I'm trying to do. Even if I'm trying to branch out to different colors, like Eaten Alive is fine. Even like maybe a Morning Patrol could make the cut depending on how much graveyard filling stuff I have. But at the moment, Triska Decaphile versus Eccentric Farmer versus Covetous Castaway. It's essentially the pick here. I think all these are really good. I probably have to default to either Triska Decaphile or Covetous Castaway. And I'm actually not sure because they're both very unique effects. They both are actually very powerful, especially a deck like this that I'm likely going to be going through my whole deck every single game. Wow. I don't think science has the technology to decide which one's the right pick here, but wow. Oh man, I think I would still go for Triska. Oh man, Triska Decaphile doesn't even make sense. Like I have a Mysterious Tome, I have Card Event. Okay, let's actually pick Covetous Castaway. It's actually a very difficult decision here. Okay, we have a Croaking Counterpart and a Troop. A Troop is a much better card, but it is kind of boring, and if you're not attacking, it's like not that exciting either. So I think I'm actually down to pick this Croaking Counterpart. Yeah, the only card I care about in the pack. Oh, another Vadric. That's kind of funny. Okay, sure. Let's pick up another Vadric here. Yeah. See if we wheel the Ominous Roost, and if it doesn't, I don't care that much. Okay. Is this Is there something wrong with this pack, or?
Should be a foil.
Okay. One of those should be a foil. All right. I guess I just pick a duel for dominance. It's not exciting. There's a good chance it doesn't even make my deck because I just don't have creatures at the moment. But yeah, let's pick this duel. All right, getting down to like the back of the pack. There is a good chance that I'm like a devious cover up, shuffle my graveyard back in deck. Which is the main reason why I decided to pick the Covetous Castaway over the Triskaidekaphile. And it's also really the only card I care about. Pestilent Wolf, whatever. So let's pick up Devious Cover Up. I think this Unblinking Observer is actually looking quite reasonable. So let's go ahead and pick up Unblinking Observer. I need 2 drops. I need some help with mana stuff. Wow, Double Tome. Double Tome is actually a huge reward, I think, for not picking up the Triskaidekaphile, because I just have good ways to go up on cards. Erdemire, also very important, I think, in an archetype like this. Just one of the chunkiest reachers. But I will pick up another Mysterious Tome here. Is that a 3rd Mysterious Tome? It is? Oh. Well, that's convenient. All right, let's go and pick up a 3rd Mysterious Tome. Why not? Okay. I just pick up a Geist Wave. Don't know if we'll play it, but with 3 Mysterious Tomes, you can play cards like Geist Wave that kind of, put you down a card. Dissipate, not likely to play it, but we'll see. Just pick up, like, I don't know, a card that's best against me. Probably Cathar's Call or something. Just pick up the uncommon, I suppose. Pick up another Cathar's Call. Right, section. All right. So we got another Organ Hoarder here, which is actually still very good. Firmament Sage, it seems not necessary with 3 Mysterious Tomes. At this point, I'm probably going to be 18 land deck, and I need to think about what I want the nature of my deck to be. So I think I want more roadblocks. I'm actually looking for more for actually some Burden Mires. I passed 2, I believe, during this draft. I'm also looking to get away from like the counter spell stuff, because I don't think leaving up mana is actually that good in a deck like this. Because of the 3 Mysterious Tomes, it's more like we want to be tapping out than tapping their stuff, drawing cards, and just not really leaving up mana because it's expensive. So that's basically my thought process going into the 3rd pack. Organ Hoarder versus Shadow Beast Sighting versus Bait Hook Angler. I will just pick up another Organ Hoarder. Oh, and also I need to think about these Vadrix if I want to be playing the Vadrix. But at the moment, the main strength of my deck again is the 3 Mysterious Tomes, which Vadrix doesn't really help with that. So I would have to. Something special would have to happen, I think, for those who make my deck. I wonder if Seize the Storm is special. I don't think it is. But I also don't think I care about any of the other cards, so let's just pick up Seize the Storm here. Ooh, Brutal Cathar, that one's a nice one. Let's have another Cover Up. Morbid Opportunist, not that good in this deck, even if I could splash it, just because things aren't dying. Outside of the opponent's turn, maybe. So I guess I'm actually down to pick up this Brutal Cathar, see what happens. I have this Deserted Beach. Adeline, on the other hand, and not really viable from this spot. Sifters or Angler. I'm probably just down to pick up another Angler. I like these cards that kind of do things on their own. Ooh, Rise of Ants is a really good one for me. Let's go and pick that up. So here I could pick up another Devious Cover Up and try to like loot my deck. I have 3 Mysterious Tomes. I have 2 Organ Hoarders. I could actually just run Devious Cover Up and 19 lands. I think that's what I'm down to do. Yeah, let's pick up another Devious Cover Up. I don't care about any of these other cards. Another Devious Cover Up. I mean, again, it's the only card I'd play, so let's pick up another Devious Cover Up. Right. I guess just pick up Crawl from the Cellar. I don't think I'm playing it, but Return to Nature for the board, I guess. Just just pick a Mechanical Grove Witch or something. Actually, another Craftsman Cellar is probably better. Yeah. I don't know when I would ever need that, but is that the 4th Devious cover-up? Let's pick up another Devious cover-up. Trapper. Candle Trap. Okay. All right. So once again, we have a Brutal Cathar, 2 Vadrics, so we want to splash for those. I had one opportunity to pick up an Evolving Wilds, and I just don't think that there are any Jack-o'-lanterns or anything like that. Pack 2, we didn't wheel the Eccentric Farmer, which is normal, but that would have also been good in conjunction with Lanterns, but we didn't even see any of those. So in terms of playables, I think that since we picked up 3 Mysterious Tomes, I do want to step away from the Vadric line. So the Vadric concept is actually really cool, I think, because these blue-green decks just are always short on mana, and Vadric discounts your instant sorceries. But here in the spot, again, if it doesn't cast for Mysterious Tome, either activations or the tome itself, I think it's just not where we want to be. So it's going to be some sort of strategy focused around Mysterious Tomes, Devious cover-ups, and just trying to survive. So let's take a look here. Some cards that we can cut already. We can cut, I believe we have to cut Duel for Dominance, so we just don't have creatures. Return to Nature can go as well. I also don't think these tapping at the windows are any good in our deck. It doesn't hit Tomes, doesn't hit Devious cover-up, so it's just going to cut all those. Alright. Path to the Festivals also don't accomplish much, because on 3 we want to be casting something else. Yeah, so let's start by cutting both Path to the Festivals here. And then Vivisection is also a card that has to go, because again, we don't have stuff to sacrifice. I think the next weakest link out of my cards here would be probably Dissipate if I had to cut another card. I do kind of want to run this Brutal Cathar. I'm not sure how viable it is, because the thing is that running Path to the Festival is mainly okay if you're low on 3s. We have other stuff to do here. So I don't necessarily think we want to be Path to the Festival. It just doesn't work very well in our deck, but like tapping out for Mysterious Home on 3 is also kind of doing nothing as well. Croaking Counterpart can copy opponent's stuff, but that card is also kind of awkward here. I wonder if there's a better way to build this deck. I kind of want this Brutal Cathar in as a main thing. So we do have the Deserted Beach, but Brutal Cathar, huh? Maybe that's the best way I can do it. I think I can actually cut the Dissipate. Yeah, then bring in the Brutal Cathar. Now, I have to think about whether or not like Croaking Counterpart is going to be worse than a Dissipate, and it probably is, even with 2 Organ Hoarders. But I'm not sure. I mean, this is probably the first deck I would try. So just 19 land deck. I don't think I've played a 19 land deck in this format, but with 4 Devious cover-ups, we just always need to have our mana up. Mysterious Tomes, who's never run out of cards, and we're just always shuffling stuff back in. It could even be a 20 land deck. I don't even know. But basically, missing a land drop before your 5th or 6th land is going to be a death sentence in this deck. So, in terms of mana, let's add 1 plains here. Then it's probably going to be either 7 and 8. Okay, so it's probably 7 forests and 8 islands. Yeah. So now we have 9 blue sources, 7 green sources, and 2 white sources. 2 white sources is a lot, but I mean, I think this makes the most sense. Like, we're just very blue. We just need to have our blue up more so than anything, but we can't really go down forests because, I mean, maybe we could, but it lessens the chance of Recoil Creeper. Look, there's some world I'm supposed to be cutting, like, I don't know, Croaking Counterpart and a forest for an island and a Dissipate. since that's a more proactive version of, of like actually trying to do something on turn 3 instead of having like fake 3 drops in terms of Mysterious Tome and Croaking Counterpart. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot there were 19 lands. Okay, so that makes life easier, actually. So let's add one more island at the very least. I think we should add another island again. Yeah, I think that's perfect. Yeah, it's perfect. 19 lander. The classic. I think my deck is actually very polarized. It's going to be pretty bad going second against decks that are trying to kill me. Decks that are trying to dirtle around, I don't think that they can win. I've risk assessed by playing 19 lands over the traditional 17 even, and just having access to mana means that I'll be able to get my Mysterious Tomes off, leave a Devious Cover up, which again, I mentioned wasn't ideal before, but part of the reason why it wasn't ideal is because it makes my deck polarized against aggressive decks and against going second. So, but over the course of the draft, I don't think that there was a better way to build the deck. We had Path to the Festivals, but again, nothing to splash. So overall, I think that this is. I'm actually very happy about this seat and a bit of a lucky Root Coil Creeper pack win pick one.
Okay, so cards I'm considering here, the gold cards are specifically Root Coil Creeper, I think is the strongest card in the pack. And kind of Shipwreck Scepters might be the strongest single color card, but I'm just going to take Root Coil Creeper here. I think it's a pretty weak pack, and I'm expecting to maybe table something like a John Hart Rejuvenator, and if I have both those cards, I can kind of do the blue-green Simic splashy thing. So yeah, I'll take Root Coil Creeper here. Okay, well, I mean, this makes it pretty simple here. I already have a blue-green card, and there's an Organ Hoarder here, strongest common in the set. Two very strong black cards. I'm expecting people on my left to be taking those after this. After that, I see a couple of red cards that might table if people are really off red, but I'm just going to take Organ Hoarder. Okay. So now this is a difficult pick because the most valuable card in the pack from a value perspective is Olivia's Midnight Ambush. And the next best cards are both Startle and Bait Hook Angler. I would rather have Bait Hook Angler specifically in blue-green, and I kind of lean more towards Startle in blue-black. But I'm just going to take the strongest card. It's still early. In no way committed to green, so I'm just going to take Olivia's Midnight Ambush here. Okay. Quite a weak pack for what we're doing here. So I could just take Dawn Heart Rejuvenator because it puts me back into the, Simic splash type thing. I could just take the dual land because that would be the best card to enable a splash if I wanted to splash something white in a blue-green deck, or even a blue-black deck, which is certainly possible if you get enough fixing to get like the Rites of Oblivion, I think it's called. And then the overall strongest card in the pack, I think, from like just a raw power level perspective, is like Harvest Tide Infiltrator, but not by much. I don't really think there's much to be gained here. I'm just going to take the Deserted Beach. Okay. All right. This is actually a very close pick. I'm definitely going to end up taking a green card here. Green looks pretty open. I think both Death Bonnet Sprout and Shadow Beast Sighting are excellent cards in blue-green. 4-drops are much easier to come by. I do think from a raw power level perspective, Shadow Beast Sighting is a little bit stronger than Death Sprout. But 1-drops are much harder to get, especially higher value ones. I'm just going to take the Death Bonnet Sprout here. Okay, this is pretty good sign. Blue-green's open. I think Winterhorn Blessing is quite strong, even in slower, more controlling blue-green decks, just because it leaves value with the counter. It can swing races. And it can play like the control role of just buy you time until you set up. I'm going to take Winter's Horn Blessing here. All right, this pack's pretty weak. See 2 blue-red cards. Blue-red might be a little bit open. We haven't seen any red commons. So I'm not really interested in that route. I'm not really interested in splashing either of those cards. I don't really like Turn to Earth, even in these blue-green self-mill decks. I don't like cards that don't give me at least a card's worth of value. I'm just going to take Gale Drifter here and hopefully not have to play it. Okay, so... All right, this isn't the full lap. I remember that the initial pack, there was like a Darn Heart Rejuvenator and all that stuff. I'm actually very unfamiliar with Mysterious Tome. I haven't played with it very much at all. I always talk myself out of playing it. So I think it's like good enough to play, but I often don't play it. That said, I don't really play Shipwreck Scepters in these decks either, and those are the cards I'm considering. I do like Larder Zombie, but I generally only want one. I think I'm going to just take Mysterious Tome here. Lock it in. Okay, the Dawnheart Rejuvenator didn't wheel. The Faithful Mending did. That's not that much of a surprise, I guess. The pack was relatively weak. I do have that Deserted Beach. I don't like Path to the Festival really at all, and I'm not a huge Snarling Wolf fan, but I do have a Winterhorn Blessing, so I could try to draft a more aggressive green deck with a lower curve and stuff like Gale Drifter to close the game. Not that interested in splashing Faithful Mending, so I'm just going to take Snarling Wolf. Not much for me here. I'm not really looking to pivot into white. I haven't seen white. I'm just going to take Path to Festival. It could open up a splash. I don't like to play it, but if I have to, under some circumstances, I would. Tapping at the Window is a card I like. I don't love it, but like in these self-mill blue-green decks, it can definitely do the job of whatever. And I like it a lot if you get a bomb rare creature of some kind. Like in blue-green specifically, there's Sedge Monster and the Huntmaster thing, the Polivars, whatever, Grave Titan. So I'll take Tapping at the Window. Just take Bounding Wolf. Tapping at the Window again. And abandoning it to post. Okay, all right. This is quite a good pack for what I'm doing here. Definitely expecting to table something here. Look at what we got over here. So as far as self-mill is concerned, I kind of wish I took that Shipwreck Scepters over the Mysterious Tome, because I'd be much happier about Covetous Castaway, and I'm just basically deciding between that and Eccentric Farmer. I don't really have a late game, which makes Eccentric Farmer a little worse. I don't have cards like the Shadow Beast sighting I passed on, and Release the Ants. Those are the cards, and any higher curve cards are where you want something like Eccentric Farmer. Not that Covetous Castaway's Covetous Castaway's also trying to play a longer game, but it does give you value in the later game in terms of a win condition. That said, I think I'm still just going to end up taking Eccentric Farmer here. Ooh, okay. All right, so we have an Eccentric Farmer. We have an Organ Grinder. As far as things to copy, I'm considering Croaking Counterpart and Contortionist Troop. I am noticing that there's a rare missing in this pack, so I can't really get a read on what's being passed to me. I actually like Contortionist Troop quite a bit, and Croaking Counterpart I do like, but I think my deck needs more of a top end in a way to win, and the fact that Contortionist Troop can fit in anywhere in the curve, and I'm pretty happy, even playing it at 2 mana. I think I'm just going to take that. And there's also, the pack is actually kind of deep, so I might wheel the Croaking Counterpart. I'm going to take the Contortionist Troop. Oof, not a great pack. So we have a couple of tapping at the windows. We have Winterhorn Blessing. We have Gale Drifter. So Ominous Roost I've never drafted blue-green Ominous Roost, but it could be okay. I'm not a huge fan of Flip the Switch. It's fine. I don't mind playing one, but my blue-green decks are usually more tap out, so I don't necessarily want to counterspell. So I'm basically deciding between those two and Silverbolt. My deck doesn't have much removal. It doesn't have a card like Revenge of the Drowned. I'm just going to take Silverbolt here. We don't have many big creatures for Duel of the Dominance, and I'm never unhappy to play Startle. Burn the Accursed is a card I wouldn't be opposed to splashing, but we don't really have a fixing for it. We took the Deserted Beach over the Rejuvenator. We didn't end up wheeling any of those Rejuvenators. I am just going to take the Startle here because I'm never unhappy playing that. Okay, again, an overall very weak pack. I do want to fill in my curve a little bit, and I do like Pestilence Wolf in these decks that tend to play slower, just because they can trade off later. When mana is not relevant anymore, you can trade up for a big creature. So Devious Cover-Up is a card in blue-green Wolf Mill that I don't mind. It is kind of like, if you have enough controlling cards, it can be a good card to have, but I'm just going to take the Pestilent Wolf here. Okay. Rounds. Curse of the Leeches is quite strong. It is much better when you play it on curve, though, so it's not really a card I want to splash all that much. So now it's just a decision between any of these blue cards. I think between Dissipate, Unblinking Observer, and Geist Wave. I'm not really interested in Vivisection right now. I do like Dissipate. It can the Exile clause is really good, just like with Devious Cover-Up. It's just much more mana efficient. My deck does have quite a bit of flashback stuff. Gale Drifter, Winterhorn Blessing, the tapping at the windows if we end up playing them. We don't have many ways to control creatures, which concerns me, and all this other stuff is kind of replaceable. So I'm just going to take the Geist Wave and hopefully, again, not have to play it. Okay. Another Mysterious Tome. There's a Dawnheart Wardens. We did pick up that Deserted Beach earlier. Not super interested in splashing Dawnheart Wardens. I would if the fixing was kind of free. I don't really want another tome. I'm just going to take the Bird Admirer here. I'm a big fan of that card. I think it's relatively underrated, and it can lead to a long game. But our deck is missing a long game plan right now. More tomes. Okay. Definitely not interested in splashing Galvanic Iteration. So now we're just deciding between the 3 blue cards. Again, if I don't get any late game, maybe I could do like a double tome thing and try to really grind my opponent. It's going to be difficult to do that without many ways to control creatures. I think I'm just going to take Dissipate here. Okay, finally, a creature that costs more than 3 or 4 mana here. We're going to take the Candlelit Cavalry. I'm not excited about it, but we do need some top end. All right, well, I'm just going to take another Dissipate here. More than likely not going to play 2, though. I'll just take the gold card. You never know what could happen. Could end up splashing red in some capacity with a lot of spells. Very unlikely, though. We'll take Join the Dance here. It's the most splashable card. So not good. It doesn't matter. Take the Ritual Guardian. And Vivisection. Okay. All right. So that's a very strong Mythic Rare. Of course, we're nowhere near it. We can't be that unhappy. There's an Organ Hoarder and a Shadow Beast Sighting. Those are basically the 2 cards we want the most here. As far as commons go in our colors. Our deck does need some way to win the long game, but I'm not going to give up the value of Organ Hoarder here. I'm just going to take Organ Hoarder over Shadow Beast Sighting, unfortunately, and hope I get some kind of top end. Ooh, okay. Interesting. So we could end up with a Seize the Storm deck here. Let me look at what kind of we have. Okay, so we have 2 tapping at the windows that can go in the deck. I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. It is kind of what we want to do, but I just don't think we have enough spells. I think we're better off just trying to play a value-y curve-out deck with stuff like Startle and whatnot. It's also possible that Seize the Storm wheels. There are pretty strong red cards in this pack. There's a Dreadhound. Not excited about it, but I'm just going to take Startle. Okay. Glad we picked up that dual land. This is a slam dunk Brutal Cathar for me. It's one of the best cards in the set. We have a piece of fixing for it. This is the kind of card that if I have to play the Path to Festivals, I'm not all that unhappy with. I'll take Brutal Cathar. Wow. Okay. White is really coming now. Don't think we can pivot into white. We didn't see it all that much pack one, which is why this is interesting. I think I just want to pay attention to my curve here and just take the bait hook angler. We're going to look to be just a Bant deck splashing the Brutal Cathar. So bait hook angler. Okay. That's the kind of top end we were looking for in this deck. Rise of the Ants, perfect card. We would like one more card like that, but we're going to take Rise of the Ants here. Okay. Pretty weak pack overall. I do think one of the best 5-mana creatures in these kind of decks is Tireless Hauler because it just outsizes everything else at that mana cost when you're able to flip it over. So I'm fairly happy to get a Tireless Hauler, though I would hoping to get a little later. Tireless Hauler though. Okay, overall weak pack. Nothing exciting for anyone. We already have a bunch of Dissipates. I'm not going to play the Vivisection though. I think I'm going to play Howl of None. I'll just take a Devious Cover Up, mostly for the sideboard. Ew. What is this? Okay, if this is a pod draft, I think I just want to take one of the gold cards. I'm not going to play another Tapping at the Windows. I will just take the Flesh Taker here. I guess that's the overall strongest card and the card I'd be most worried about with this deck. Ooh, I love Lunar Frenzy, but obviously we can't put it in this deck. I'll just take a Return to Nature for the sideboard. I guess we'll just take the best card in the pack, Candlegrove Witch. Okay, that is the second Devious Cover Up to start a loop. I guess I'll take that. We're pretty short on playables. Maybe we'll end up having to do that. Card I'm most worried about here is Gavany Tapper or Trapper. I'll just take that. I'll take Candle Trap. Absolute disaster if we have to, but we may have to splash it. So that's 33 cards we have there. Okay, so we did end up getting a kind of busted creature, and we do have good creatures, so I'm definitely going to end up playing at least one Tapping at those. I would cut the other two for now. I'll cut the Return to Nature. Cut the Vivisection. I'm going to cut the Snarling Wolf. Hopefully I don't have to play that. What's this? 28. I'm going to cut all the counter spells for now, but I'm almost certainly going to end up with at least one of them in my deck. I just want to see what it looks like without them. I think I'm only just going to end up playing a Plains and a Deserted Beach for the Brutal Cathar, especially with Essence Farmer, 2 Organ Grinders. Yeah, cut the Path for now. That leaves me at 23. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 creatures. Oh yeah, cut the Bounding Wolf for me. What do I want to play? I'm pretty sure this 20... Oh, that's 22. That's with a land. Okay, never mind. So yeah, so I probably have to play 2 more cards. Maybe I just play... What do we have for werewolves? We have Tireless Hauler, Burdenmire. All right, so I'm going to play... I think I end up just playing the Bounding Wolf and a counter. I'm just trying to decide. I think it's going to be Devious Cover Up. Let me think what I have for that. If I have enough self-mill, I'll definitely want to cover up. I really do regret that depth on it. Screw it. All right. Yeah, just put in a Devious Cover Up. I think that's the best counter to play. I've never put Bounding Wolf in a deck before. So 1 Plains, definitely playing 17. I believe it's just 8, like 8/8/1. So 7 islands, 8 forests. I think I did a decent job in this seed. I don't really know what I could have necessarily done to make my deck better, other than kind of just like one of the pivotal picks could have been was it pack 2 I got Brutal Cathar? I remember it was like Morbid Opportunist versus Cathar. Basically, the only way my deck could have been stronger is if I ended up in black. There was a lot of good late black cards. Could have, and maybe not blue, but it was really hard to be there when I started with the blue green gold card and ended up with Organ Hoarder. So I don't think it would have been easy to get a different deck. Overall, I think this deck is like slightly above average. It's not great. Like Brutal Cathar is really, really good. So that's kind of where a lot of the power lies. The deck has a good, decent curve. It has strong value cards, and it kind of has a late game. Where it's really weak is its removal. If Brutal Cathar was another kind of really strong rare that wasn't actually able to manipulate creatures, it would be much weaker. The deck overall, even if it was like, I don't know, if that was like a splash Morbid Opportunist or whatever, some kind of like really broken card that I was splashing. But the fact that I can actually find it a little more often with the Hoarders and the one tapping and that kind of stuff, I think I can get some wins with this.
All right, so this pack is horrible, I think. I really don't want to take any of these cards first. But the two things that cross my mind are that Root Coral Creeper is the best card in the pack, I think by a lot. But it is a 2-colored card. Right? And the best single-color card is Burly Breaker. So, I think. So, it's between wanting to take the better card that I have a smaller chance of playing versus taking the the worst card that I'm more likely to play. I think Burly Breaker is just so replaceable. There's so many 5-drops in the set that I would lean towards taking the Creeper first here because, well, I'm not giving up much if I don't play the Burly Breaker because it's not that good and I can find other 5s. So I would just take the Root Coral Creeper here, knowing that I'm likely not to play, but if I do play it, at least it's going to be great. Okay, for pick 2, I think much better pack. Organ Hoarder and Olivia's Midnight Ambush are both premium commons, I think. I think Organ Hoarder is a little bit better. Also, the Static Awakener is pretty good, but I think the other 2 cards are better. Organ Hoarder is a little bit better, and I already have a blue card in pick 1, so I think this pick is pretty easy. And I would take Organ Hoarder here. But I think they're close enough that, depending on what my first pick was, I could have taken the Midnight Ambush. Well, now this pack, I mean, one card is just miles better than everything else, and that's still even Midnight Ambush, so that's just what I would take. I don't care that that is a different card than my first 2 picks. I don't like committing that early, so I'm just going to take the best card. This pack's pretty bad again. I don't really want to play any of those cards. I think the Infiltrator is probably the best card here, but it's pretty mediocre. At this point, I would probably take the Don't Heart Rejuvenator just because of what I already have. Though the 4-drop slot is very, very crowded. But yeah, I think I would just take the Rejuvenator here. And I might regret not taking the Infiltrator, but not by a lot. Okay, this pack is pretty strong. I think the 2 green cards in here are very good. The Death Bundle Sprout and the Shadow Beast Sighting. I think Shadow Beast Sighting is a little bit better. It is a 4-drop, right, which is a problem. Because there are so many 4-drops. I already have 2 if I do go the blue-green version. But I think it's still better than the Sprout. So yeah, I would just take the Shadow Beast Sighting here. But I wouldn't be upset to take the Sprout here either. I think it's a pretty good card. 3 options here, I think. The Bird Admirer, the Duel for Dominance, or the Winterthorn Blessing. I don't know for a fact that I am blue-green at this point, so the Blessing is pretty good in certain flavors of blue-green. It's not even very good in all of them. Whereas the Duel and the Bird Admirer are both going to be okay, regardless. I think it's pretty close. Actually, between the 3 cards, I would probably just go with the Bird Admirer, I think, because it's a 3-drop. It's a good defensive card. I have some reasonable late options already. Yeah, I would just take the Bird Admirer, but I wouldn't fault anyone for taking the Duo or the Blasting here. Okay, so Vadric is pretty good. I wonder if there's a way for me to play it. At this point, it's not that great of a splash, but it is playable off a splash, I think. The other option would be to take Gale Drifter. I mean, I guess I could also take Noi out or Baneblade Scoundrel because I'm not locked into my colors just yet. So really a lot of possibilities here. Gale Drifter I don't love because again, 4-drop, too many 4-drops. But am I gonna play like Rug splashing Vadric? It is very, very good in the right deck. I don't have a lot of spells for him, but maybe it's the type of card that it's worth taking just if it happens. Because what I'm giving up is not that great. So I would probably just take the Vadric here. And again, knowing that I'm very unlikely to play it, but also knowing that if I do end up playing it, it's going to be a very good card. Here, I think Sifters, Ladder Zombie, Timberland Guy, Tome are all like similar power levels. Obviously, Sifters is the better card in a vacuum, I think. Not in a vacuum, the better card potentially. Right? If you have the deck for it, it is going to be better. I would probably just take Larger Zombie with what I have here so far, though. I think Larger Zombie is pretty good, and I don't mind playing it in blue-green or blue-red or blue whatever. I think it's good in all combinations. So yeah, I would take Larger Zombie. So we got our pack back. I think Neonate's Rush is the best card here. So I would just take that. I'm not going to miss. Like, I don't really want to play Path to the Festival in this format. I don't want to play Snarling Wolf either, so I would just take Neonate's Rush. Here, I mean, everything here is bad. I'm definitely not going to be white. Like, I have cards in every color but white at this point, and I don't like white very much. So I guess I would just take the Path to the Festival. I think it's more likely I play that than Stolen Vitality. You know what? I take Tapping at the Window. I think that card can see play in some decks. And here I would just take the Wolf, the Bounding Wolf. It's not great, but yeah, I'd take Tapping at the Window again. Okay, so this pack, reasonable number of choices for us, I think. I really like Dawnheart Mentor in general. And I really like the Kodos Castaway is good. Eccentric Farmer is pretty good with what we currently have, I think, because we already have some incentives to have graveyard stuff, because we do have the Organ Hoarder, we have the Creeper, the Tapping at the Windows. So the question is, do I want... Like, the Mentor is a better card in general. This Kaideka File is also okay, but in this format, I think you there are a lot of uses for your mana. There's like Flashback or the card drawing. So it's not as good as it would normally be. So the question is, the Mentor is better than the Farmer. And in my deck, the Farmer is better than the Mentor. Is it by enough to justify? I think so. I think I would take the Farmer here. Yeah, I would just take a Eccentric Farmer. I might regret this pick, but... Okay, so lots of options here. I could take another Olivia's Midnight Ambush, right? That I could just splash that. I could take the Contortionist... I have one already, right? I could take the Contortionist Troop, which is a reasonable card. Or I could take the Counterpart, which is an okay card, I think, but... Again, I'm not really locked into blue-green at all, right? I could just be black-green. Like, I feel like I'm pretty locked into green at this point, but I don't know what my second color is. But even if it is, if I do end up in black-green, I could splash the Counterpart. What do I have that is good to copy? Oracle right now. Eccentric Farmer is like not the worst. Not that much. So do I want to take this Olivia Midnight Ambush here? Normally red is a better splash crawler because of the Seize the Storm card. But so it's either Ambush or Troop, I think. Obviously you can also copy your opponent's cards, right? But you're still just getting 1/1s. They have to have some good abilities for you to copy. I would probably just take the troop here because it still leaves me a little bit more open. And it's a card that I'm guaranteed to play. Oh, wow. Another Vadrik, but I've gotten to the point where I can't really play it, I don't think. Like, I can't really bend. Like, I don't have that many spells to make use of it. So, like, it is still good if it just grows, right? But I'm not getting the bonus very much, and I don't think I'm in a spot to abandon green. Here, I think I have too many green cards. I'm just very likely to be blue-green, I guess. So Silver Bolt is a card that I could take. It's reasonable. Or I could take Flip the Switch, which is better than Silver Bolt, I think. But blue. And I don't know if I'm going to be blue. And I don't have many uses for the token either. Right? This is not really a deck that wants to use the 2/2 zombie. So I would probably just take the Silver Bolt here. Yeah, I would just take Silver Bolt. Happily, but... Oh wow, 2 Static Awakeners. There's a Burn the Accursed that I can splash. But I think, even though Burn is better than Duel, I think I would just take Duel here because it's on color. All my colors, so yeah. That's pretty bad. I would take Pestilent Wolf just because it's a 2-drop that I can play. Huh. Curse of the Leeches is pretty good. This is a very late Curse of the Leeches. I think it's much better than any other card in the pack. I mean, I guess I would take Curse of the Leeches here. And try to be some combination of Bug. Huh, okay, I'll take the Bird Admire. Now I've gotten to enough cards that... like day-night cards that I feel like I can manipulate Olivia's Midnight Ambush pretty well as well, so kind of regret not taking the other one that I saw, but it's pretty late Lunarch Veteran. Some people that are doing this column are going to be thrilled about it, I'm sure. But I mean, I think it's a fine card, but I don't see how it could have been white here. Maybe I should have, but... I mean, either I'm taking the Galvanic Iteration or the Mysterious Tome, I think are my two options. I'll probably just take the Tome here. I don't love it, but... Okay, so No Way Out or Cavalry. I'm a fan of No Way Out, but not really many uses for zombies again, so I would just take the Cavalry. And here, I guess I would take Dissipate. I don't feel like I'm going to possibly playing anything else. Well, if anyone was going to take this Vadrik, they would have taken it the first time around. Right, so no one is blue-red, it seems. But I guess I'll just take it. Maybe Pack 3 is... like I don't need to hate draft it because no one's going to take it, but... I'll take Join the Dance. It's not good, but... well, actually, no. Sorry. I'll just take Blast Defiance, which I think is the better card here. I'm just hate drafting here. And Ritual Guardian, I guess. Vivisection. I might play this Vivisection. Okay, so... reasonable pack. Again, there's Evolving Wilds is good, but the Shadow Beast and Organ Hoarder are both very good. Obviously, Bloodthirsty Adversary is also very good in the right deck, but we don't have the deck for it. I would just take Organ Hoarder here. I think I will end up splash. I will probably end up in some variation of Soul Type in this draft. It's kind of weird that it's already pack 3 and I don't really know what colors I am, but that does happen sometimes. This pack is tricky because the best card is the Dreadhound. But it is BB. Like, I could try to take the Seize the Storm and just go nuts, but I don't think I have the spells for it. Okay, let me see. I could just pay both Vadriks. A bunch of green things. What spells do I have? 2 Tapping at the Windows, Path to the Festival, Mune Rush. I wouldn't play the Midnight Ambush at that point. Yeah, it's just, I just don't have this. I have a Duel. I don't think I have the spells for it. Maybe I should just take the Dreadhound here. And... this is tough. The 2 black cards that I have are quite good. I also have 3 quite good blue cards. And I would be happy to splash either, but Red Hound is BB. And I don't have that much fixing yet. But do I want to Seize the Storm? I don't think so. I think I should just take the Dreadhound here. Yeah, I will take the Dreadhound. This might be a mistake. Okay, so Brutal Cathar is one of the best cards in the set, but we can't really use it. So I guess I would just take the Morbid Opportunist, which is also one of the best cards in the set. Even though I don't have a lot of ways to kill creatures. I might get like 1 or 2 more removal spells. Maybe I'll table this Duo for Dominance. Unlikely, but yeah, I would just take the Opportunist here. Oh wow. It seems like white is very open. It's gonna be kind of unfair. You know, whoever was in white really lucked out with this past 2 picks. But it's not me. So the question is, which 2-drop do I want? Right? There are arguments for all of them. The Timberland Guide is the one that I'll always be able to play because I'll have a base green deck. But it's the worst one. See, Zombie is a little bit better. And then the Angler is a card that I might be unable to play early because I think blue is my last color. But it is a card that I can mill, and I have 2 Organ Hoarders, and yeah, I would just take the Angler, I think. And end up in some sort of 3-color deck and whatever. Okay, so here Release the Ents is pretty good. Dreadhound is good too, but I think Release the Ents is better for me. I want some more value from my mill, so I'm pretty happy to pick that. Here I guess I would just take... I mean, I could take the Crossroads Candle Guide as just fixer, but I think the Hauler is good enough. And I think my mana is still going to be just okay. Yeah, I would take the Tireless Hauler here. I don't really want any of those. I mean, I guess I would take the Cover Up because I might sideboard it in. I'd probably just take... And Crawl from the Cellar is good with what I have. Is it better than Shady Traveler? Might be, if I'm milling enough. Yeah, I would take Crawl from the Cellar here. I would just take the Zombie here. The Hobbling Zombie. And Kendall Grove Witch, because I think it's the best card in the pack. And again, Cover Up, because I might want to sideboard it in, but I'll certainly not play it. And the Trapper, I think, is the best card here, too. And I guess I would take Candle Trap. Yeah, the tapping. Like, I'm not going to play the Dissipate. I'm not going to play the Tome. I'm probably only going to play untapping at the windows at most, so you can cut 2. I'm not going to play the Cover-Ups. I'm not going to play the Hobbling Zombie. Or the Bounding Wolf. I'm going to play the Path. The Festival. I'm not going to play Vivisection, I don't think. Alright, so this is reasonable. The mana really is not going to work out super well in this deck. I could just forget the Dreadhound here and play something else instead. That is blue or green, then I'm splashing for 3 black cards. I have the Crawl from the Cellar too. Yeah, it's kind of awkward having like Larder Zombie and Angler, like the 2-mana guy, and Rootcoil Creeper. I don't think I need the Dreadhound to win the game anymore. Right, like because I got the Rise of the Ants and I have some of the 5-drops. I might just be able to cast it once I get to 6 mana. I don't have that much fixing. I have just the Creeper and the Rejuvenator. The Crawl is okay in my deck. I mean, I have the Organ Hoarders and stuff, but it's kind of clunky. Better option would be, and I definitely want to play the Rookall Creeper. Tricky. I regret certain things. For example, if my Dissipate was the counter to cost 1 blue, I would be much happier about it, and then I would just play that, I think. So if I do cut the Dreadhound and the Crawl, what do I add instead? And another tapping at the windows and Bounding Wolf? Not great. And the Tome is not awful either. Like, I don't like playing it, but Dissipate, it's gonna be hard to cast. I think we can cut the Crawl. We can probably cut the Hound. Yeah, I would probably play on a second tapping at the windows, which I don't love, but... And the Bounding Wolf, just another creature, and I have some werewolves, so like I can pass the turn and play. Yeah, this is probably what I'd play. But for my lands, I would probably want like 3 swamps, 5 islands, and 9 forests. This is pretty bad for my blue 2-drops. Maybe I need another island here. Which one do I cut? Which one do I cut? I can buy with 2 black sources plus the 2 creatures. Not that much, but I do have a ton of fixing. Not a ton of fixing, a ton of searching with like the Organ Hoarders and the Eccentric Farmer. I wish I had an Evolving Wilds. This would make my mana base significantly better, I think. I can buy with 8 green. I mean, I can't keep a hand without green. I think I would probably just cut a swamp or an island here. Get by with 2 swamps and accept that my 3-drops are not really going to be 3-drops, right? I'm just going to play them later. There's still good cards later in the game, I think. And Olivia's Midnight Ambush is also not really a 2-drop necessarily. Yeah, I think this is what I'd submit. I'm not super happy about it. I felt like green was super open early and then not open at all in pack 3, which is kind of weird. Like I got 1 Rise the Ents pretty late, but that was about it, right, for the entire pack for green cards. And I was almost like mono green to start with, so that part was a bit tricky. And then just going back and forth on what my secondary and tertiary colors were going to be was not great for me. So I think my deck definitely didn't end up being very good. And it sounded like the place to be was in white, but you know, if those 2 white rares that I got were 2 non-white rares, or just 2 bad cards, maybe I wouldn't even be thinking that. I don't think I missed out on that many white cards, but I did table a Coven Witch and stuff. It's hard for me to identify the spot in which I should have been white. Like, there's no one pick where... I felt like when I saw my first white card, I already had like 11 cards and none were white.
So basically, Galvanic Iteration is a card that I think people generally don't understand well, because previously when we've seen cards kind of like it, they've been mediocre even in the spells decks, right? Like when we usually see like copy a card, hasn't been great. Flashback completely changes that dynamic, right? And it's changed also for sort of 2 reasons. One has to do with cards like Revenge of the Drowned, right, and Startle, right, that make zombie tokens. So you can end up leveraging a little bit more than what you would expect from copying a spell, because things add up, right? If you think of any spell that makes a token as deal 2 damage instead of making that decayed token, Galvanic Iteration on just 2 spells like that adds up to 8 damage. Plus whatever other things you're getting. So it's actually a card that I really like. And is it? The main question is, do I think I can wheel it? Because if we're looking at this pack, honestly, the most powerful monocolored card is Burly Breaker, but it's 5 mana and there are a lot of good expensive things, so I don't really want to first pick a Burly Breaker. The best commons here are Shipwreck Sifters and Neonate's Rush. Those are just the general best commons. Again, I don't really want to like do something like take Galvanic Iteration, wheel Neonate's Rush. I mean, I could. And if I guess I don't know the bots here on Arena, I would think there's a reasonable chance that Neonate's Rush wheels. And that would make me more inclined to take the Galvanic Iteration, but Galvanic Iteration also sometimes wheels, which I believe is incorrect. Root Coil Creeper is another great gold card. Generally, I think I would pick one Iteration over Creeper because I like blue-red more than blue-green. And I think it has it's like a little bit more powerful, but honestly not by that much. So if you preferred blue-green, I could see taking the Creeper. And blue-green has more to wheel than the Rush does, but I wouldn't be surprised if in blue-green you don't wheel the things that you want to. I'm going to end up, though, I think, on Shipwreck Sifters. I know that might sound weird given everything that I've said, but like if there was more to wheel from Izzet, I would probably end up taking that iteration, but there's not. And instead, I think I'd rather just take the card that has the highest upside in multiple blue decks, although leaning towards blue-white. Punished. I guess not. I mean, I'm taking Organ Hoarder no matter what I take. Even if I took the blue-red gold card, right? I would take the Organ Hoarder, so I'll take the Organ Hoarder here. So the best card in this pack is Olivia's Midnight Ambush. It's the only black card, and a common is missing, but we don't know of what color because every color is present. But with starting with 2 blue cards and a Shipwreck Sifters, I think this is definitely just a bait hook angler. So Deserted Beach is actually interesting. Like, I think Sunset Revelry is fine, but not incredibly exciting. And the Sacred Fire is a potential splash in blue-red anyways. And again, this pack doesn't have that many good cards. And I could really be any blue deck from this start. And nothing if I had taken the iteration, I would probably just make sure that I have a Stolen Vitality here, but I didn't. So I think I'm going to end up on Deserted Beach. And there's another Stolen Vitality that my Wheel of Iteration does anyways. Okay, so Sprout is a card that I think is overrated. I think it's just fine, mostly because I think even my blue-green decks end up often heavier on spells than creatures. So if I were to take a green card, I think I'd rather take the Shadow Beast sighting. Now, Gale Drifter works nicely with the Shipwreck Sifters, but it's still just a clunky card, and I already have Organ Hoarder as a 4. If I end up blue-white, Gavany Trapper is probably better than this Startle, but I'm just going to take the Startle to stay monocolored. Okay, so now that I've been mostly mono blue, I think it's correct to take Winterhorn's Blessing to speculate on the potential of being green blue. I'll miss the Creepers over the Sifter, but yeah, I mean, 2 Izzet cards here is a pretty big note, especially if there's a chance that iteration wheels. One of the problems, though, is let's say that iteration doesn't wheel, then I'm likely fighting for blue-red, which seems like it's a problem. I'll take the Archmage anyways. I want exactly 1 Secrets of the Key in blue-red, and I still don't have to commit to anything. Shipwreck Sifters get better in multiples, so I'll just take another Shipwreck Sifters. Got it. So the iteration didn't wheel, but the rush did. This is an interesting draft. Never taking Path to the Vestals here. I think it's possible, based on what I have, some people would take Path, just because you could be anything and you could splash easily in blue-green. Even in my blue-green decks that are splashing, I hope I'm never putting Path in my deck. As a little fun aside, when I did I did some math to compute sort of the difference between winning and losing decks per archetype, and the most losing card by that metric was Path to the Festival. Now, obviously, there are worse green cards like Plummet, but that gets balanced out by the fact that so the best green decks aren't playing Plummet, and the worst green decks also aren't playing Plummet. So there's nothing to suggest that Plummet is coming out as the worst card. When I say Path is the worst card, I don't mean it's like the worst green card. I mean conditioned on the fact that people are putting it in their deck more in decks that lose than decks that win. It is the worst card by that metric. So not looking at it, and I think a lot of people would. So to me, this is Neonate's Rush to hedge, potentially fight against blue-red, because I like blue-red a lot, or Faithful Mending as a card that I only really like in blue-white. If you get a Roost and you end up in that Roost deck, I will miss it in that case, and I do have the Sifters to like really make the card actually do things. Like it can be a pump spell, which is pretty sick. Yeah, the question here is, do I want to fight over blue-red? And how much am I likely to miss this Faithful Mending? I think I'm way more likely to miss the Rush than the Mending, so I'll take Rush. Okay, this pack had multiple blue-red gold cards. I'm going to be off blue-red here. I'm just taking Cathar's Commando. I'll take the Sanctifier. In case I open something crazy, I'm going to take Stolen Vitality to hedge over the Flare of Faith. I think that's better than Bounding Wolf. Tapping at the Window. And Ritual Guardian. Okay. Triskaidekaphile is a good card. I'm honestly not convinced it's better than Covetous Castaways, depending on how I go. In fact, it's probably not. Eccentric Farmer is a card I like a lot if I end up blue-green. With the Sifters, I want to end up blue-white more, and that has Disturb. So I think here, at this point, I'm supposed to commit to blue-white and take Covetous Castaways. Okay, I'll take the... Oh, there's a Croaking Counterpart. Maybe I'm supposed to be blue-green. Maybe the Counterpart wheels, because if I had taken the Farmer, I would take this Counterpart. Maybe I was supposed to take Bounding Wolf actually before and end up pushing blue-green. I don't even have that many great things for the Counterpart. I'll just take Flip the Switch. So at this point, the real question is I'm definitely, I think I have to give up on blue-red. I think I have to commit. I mean, like the funny thing about this is if you look at my pool, my red cards are better than my white cards, right? But my blue cards pair so much better with white than they do with anything else. Revenge of the Drowned is the best card in the pack, and we haven't seen any otherworldly gazes to wheel. But an Ominous Roost deck is like really where I want to take this direction. The question is, do I think Ominous Roost can wheel? If it can, then the correct pick is Revenge of the Drowned. But let's say I end up with in an Ominous Roost deck. Then am I supposed to take this Lunarch Veteran? Like, is Ominous Roost plus Lunarch Veteran better than Revenge plus Ominous Roost? There's also like the crazy world where the Archmage wheels whatever person was in blue-red at the beginning isn't in blue-red for some reason now and doesn't take the Archmage. It was a really hard pick. Still technically be blue-green. I'm going to take Revenge of the Drowned. I think there's a world it's a mistake. How many startles do I have? 2 already or just 1? Just 1. I'll just take another startle. I'm really going to end up in a bad blue-red deck, aren't I? It's totally what's going to end up happening. Do I really want to take this Loyal Griff? I guess Loyal Griff is kind of sick with Disturb, right? Yeah, I'll take the Griff. How good is Unblinking Disturber? But I already have Counterspell. I don't like Vivisection. I'm not black for Curse of Leeches. Yeah, I'll just take an Unblinking Observer, I guess. Search Party Captain? This is bullshit. I could have had the most insane deck if I had just first picked the Galvanic iteration, because it, I might not have put something into blue-red, and I considered it, and it was really close. Like, even though we haven't seen any Festival Crashers, it's fine. I think I'm just supposed to take Moon Arch Veteran and move on. Move on, cry about it. That's okay. Morning Patrol. It's a nice wheel. I don't know. There's probably some crazy world where I play an Unruly Mob. It seems more likely than anything else after anything I'm committed to white. I'll take it. It did come back. What's the likelihood Candle Trap ends up in my deck? I have a reasonable number of flyers. It's not the worst card. I think low enough. Look, there's still a world where I get this, a Galvanicator, like all of the last cards are like red spells cards, and I open like an egg, right? That seems worth more to me than a Candle Trap. So I'll take the Archmage. Blessed Defiance is fine. Cathar's Source. I'll take a Ritual Guardian, I guess. And Vivisection. You did this on purpose. God, I was so close to first picking that iteration. I was so close. Basically, anybody who first picks that iteration has the best deck at the table. Anybody who doesn't probably has a fine deck. Card quality is high enough. I'll just take another Organ Hoarder and be happy about it. And I'll take the Morning Patrol here. Brutal Qatar. How many 2s do I have? I have 4 and a 1 already. Yeah, I'll take the white rare. There we go. Now I'm rewarded. Woohoo! I did it. What is my interactive suite like? I have a Flip the Switch and a Revenge of the Drowned, some Startles, but that's really it. I have 2 Search Party Captains. Is it possible? Can we do anything to give me my curve to know how likely this is to be a 3-drop and how many 3s and 4s I have? I guess. Can we cut all the cards that I'm 2 Morning Patrols, Flip? My curve's actually not that high. I do think I need to take the Candle Trap here. I'll take it. I'm not happy about it, but I will take it. I think I have enough that I like the Otherworldly Gaze. I'm obviously missing the Roost, but I do stand by my Revenge. So I'll take Gaze. I think it's worth more than the Bereaved Survivor. Otherworldly Gaze. God, I got a copy. Gavany Trapper's fine. Never splashing anything, so I guess a Homestead Courage. Maybe there's some crazy world I want to sideboard it. Take the Search Party Captain here. I don't think I'm ever playing double Blessed Defiance, although maybe I am because of my lack of removal. I already have a Candle Grove Witch, right? I don't. Thought I did. I'll take the Witch. Cover up. Another Trapper. Mob. All right, I'm tapping at the window. My deck's good. This was really interesting navigation. I guess there are some points where I tried to hedge towards blue-red, which might have been just such a big mistake. I'm missing a few playables. I'm going to hit playables. My 23rd card's going to be slightly worse because of it, right? So cut Vivisection, Devious Cover-Up. Cut Sanctifiers and both Ritual Guardian. Cut Homestead Courage. So 1. Yeah. Both Unruly Mobs. How many Disturb cards do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Wait, I only have 5? That sucks. Why did I think I had more? Shit, maybe I was supposed to take the second Blessed Defiance. And I wasn't supposed to take this Gaze, huh? 19 creatures. So you can cut Unblinking Observer, Otherworldly Gaze, and I'll play 16 lands, 9/7, leaning white. I'm not unhappy with this deck. This deck's a good deck. there's just a lot of decisions I could have made that I think would lead to a better deck. So basically, my opinion is I think my deck is good. I think it is likely, like, I think ending up blue-white was a natural path that ends up with a good deck at this seat. I think most seats here would end up with a good deck. It's hard to imagine what would happen in the dynamics of the draft if you went blue-red, but assuming passing the Galvanic iteration is what put somebody in blue-red, there's a good chance that if you take the Galvanic iteration, you end up with the best deck at the table. I don't know if that's true because we saw 0 Festival Crashers, 0 Thermal Alchemists, only 1 Seize the Storm, really only 1 Moonrage's Slash, but that could be affected by the dynamics of the table, right? Outside of this, there was definitely a way of ending up blue-green because I think that like there were some junctions to take green cards. I think you end up in a worse deck if you end up blue-green. I think it's possible that there's a way of going and ending up with a really nice assertive green-white deck. I'm not sure exactly if this lines up better, but I think most seats at this table should have ended up being blue-white, blue-red, or blue-green. And I think that there's a good chance that the best blue-white deck you could have was the best deck at the table, but I think I made a few mistakes in the draft where I was bobbing and weaving between blue-red, which may have just been a big mistake. So for example, the second that Galvanic iteration doesn't wheel, I'm probably just supposed to like commit there. And I weaved for a few other picks, I'll say. But that's the difference between my last few pick, my 20th to 23rd card being slightly better than they are right now. The only other thing that I'll say is while I am glad that I'm really glad I took this revenge over the Roost, it's definitely possible that I made a few sequences of mistakes during this draft that would have been optimized with a Roost and ended up with a better deck. I'm not entirely certain, but I think this deck is quite good.
Thanks again for tuning in. I sincerely appreciate you checking out this project, and I want to keep it going. We'd love to be able to do one of these every week, so make sure you visit Star City Games down in the description. Check out the column, give them a click, and hit like and subscribe. Oh God, I had to say it, didn't I? But it really does help out. Just get those numbers up so that I can show you ads in the future. Why? I am the worst at selling this. Oh, just remember your uncle loves you. Thanks so much. Hey everybody, it's your favorite uncle, reminding you to check out the Open Draft Project, where I sit down with your favorite pros, streamers, and limited grinders. They do the exact same draft seat, and then we see what's going on in their heads. If you are brand new to draft, or you're like me and draft way too much, there's always something that you can take away from this series where we talk to some of the greatest draft minds in the world. Check it out.